Oh yeah, build it. No, build it bigger with Danny Forrester. That was an awesome show. I loved that show growing up. Yeah, like I like Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe is cool. Dirty Jobs is a great show. That's the kind of stuff I try to show, dude. But anyway, we're gonna get into our space news segment now, where I talk about what's going on with all nations' spaceflight programs. That's what we're gonna do now, and we'll go from there. We'll switch us over to science and technology. We'll get the UJ's space and rocket review going, and then we're gonna play some Kerbal after that. We gotta keep going with the SSTO. Mike's a cool dude. Yeah, champions the trades, Merkers. I like him a lot. Yeah, I think he's 100% right in championing trades. You know, building with your hands and having common sense stuff to having common sense to like be able to fix a toilet or something. Very useful skills. You'd be surprised. I like doing that. I like working with my hands. I don't necessarily like to get somebody to do it for me unless I really don't know what I'm doing, you know? The landing video. I don't know what all this is. What are you guys linking? Oh, the U2. Oof. Crazy. When will you play Minecraft? DV, I'll probably do Minecraft will probably be on Thursdays. Yeah, I'm going to find a permanent spot for it for the community project on Thursdays, I think. And then Wednesdays we'll play whatever, maybe Beam or something. And then the whole point of this is, like, okay, guys, I want to be clear. Like, I don't want really set days. But if for a community project like racing, it might be better to do it. But we'll go from there. Yeah, Beam's new update, it's amazing. Yeah. Nice. All right. So, I'll be right back. I'm going to bring the title card up, and then, yo, bro, you need to see this, okay? Save this for the end of space news, okay? All right. Yeah, Astro, maybe. I'll be back in just a second. I'm just going to make a pot of coffee, and then we'll get back to it. So, be back in 5, and then we go. I don't know, Limprod. That's why I want to keep it up in the air, dude. I don't want to have set days for games and lock myself into playing a certain amount of games all the time, dude. I want to play, you know, like I want Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, particularly with early hours, to play whatever the hell I want, you know. And maybe I'll even do early hours on Friday, Saturday if I'm feeling it, you know. But having the start times on Friday and Saturday at 4 really makes it so I don't have to necessarily. You know, if there's a rocket launch, you know, at a weird time on a Friday or Saturday, it doesn't screw me up too much. But anyway, I'll be back in a second. Okay. Sorry that took a second, guys. I'm a little bit up in the air today. I'll be honest with you. The reason is because, like, Cities notwithstanding, like going back and playing Cities is because I had my landlord come in here today and take a look at the windows and stuff to see if the bees that are coming in here are coming in through there or if they're coming in through somewhere else. So I had to, like, take down all my curtains in here, and I had to clean the place up a little bit, like, because it was full of all my streaming equipment, right? I moved some stuff around last night after the stream, so I had to, like, this whole day has been ridiculous. And then, like, the landlord said he'd be here between 12 and 1, and he showed up at 12:56. So, like, right when I should start. So, like, everything's a little bit up in the air right now. What I needed to do was tape up the holes that we found. The windows in this building are a little bit older, and the seals between the window when you open it up, like if you have it open for like a window AC, they have cracks in them, and he's like, oh yeah, we should probably replace that, but for now just tape it up. I'm like, all right, cool. So I duct tape up the holes in the windows. So yeah, and then I had to close all the curtains and kind of get everything figured out. You're back. I still see the starting soon page. Okay. That's weird. So these like bees or breeze? Yellow jackets, Genesis. Yellow jackets have been finding their way into my office, and I don't know where they're coming from. There's been so many of them. That yeah, I called the landlord because I don't know if there's a nest. Like, we're on the top floor, and we're on top floor of the apartment, and it is an older building, so it has like this building has like it's not a flat roof, but it's not a curved roof either, like a roof like this. It's kind of like halfway in between, so there is like an attic up there, but I want to make sure there's not a nest up there, because I know yellow jackets, you gotta, like, you don't want the nest to get bigger, right? I had to do that with your AC unit. Fun fact, don't run a window unit on a circuit with your PC. My PC and AC unit keep tripping the 15 amp. I have them on different plugs. They're on the same circuit though, Hokey, but my UPS is between the computers. I found this article. What's that, Serenity? You have to get perms from the mods to post links, but I can see the link anyway. What is this? This is coming from Value Walk. I've never covered an article from them. What is this? Former CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, buys out Virgin Galactic, set to dismantle space program. Jeff Bezos is making waves in the market after he announced via Twitter that he has completed a buyout of Virgin Galactic Holdings. Jeff Bezos doesn't post on Twitter. He posts on Instagram. That article is incorrect. Jeff Bezos doesn't post on Twitter. He doesn't have a Twitter account. Oh, yeah. So he posts on Insta. Yeah, that's where he goes. Yeah, whoever wrote that's an idiot. Yeah. That's fake. I don't think getting stung by yellow jackets would be fun, regardless if you're allergic or not. Yeah, I don't need to get stung, Lemprod. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid of bees, and it was never about I'm not afraid of them. Like yesterday, I just said screw it. I'm just gonna keep going, and he went away. I didn't kill the one that came up yesterday. I don't know where he went. Jeff Bezos not posting on Twitter is what kills the article for you. Brimo, if they can't be bothered with figuring out how Jeff Bezos communicates with social media, that's a red flag right off the bat to tell me that it's bullcrap. Also, I've never covered an article from that site. I don't know that site. I don't know who they are. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that's fake. Not the totally ridiculous premise. You never know in this day and age, you know? You never know. Did you get your last link? There was a lot of links today. A NASA post about the RS-25, okay? We watched this test. The engine okay, so I guess that's a good enough place to start.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
It popped up on Google News, so weird, and Google is top results. Top results on Google? Really? Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Vacuum cleaner spots US. I have wasp killer. But, oh, you want to hear something cool? Check this out. Dude, I'm all over the place. I'm working on all different types of projects, etc., etc. And sometimes I forget that I score stuff. But, dude, I forget. I honestly forget where I got this from. But when I was cleaning out my office yesterday, I found this. I don't know, Genesis. I'll have to figure it out. Check this out. I forgot I had this. And I'll be honest, I don't know where I got it from. This is the Systems Engineering Handbook. So, alright. I bought this for a reason. And the reason why I bought the Systems Engineering Handbook is because you know all the NASA terminology like preliminary design reviews, critical design reviews, requests for proposal, stuff like that. Like the back-end nomenclature that NASA uses for organizing, well, systems. Right? This is the handbook for it. Yeah. The funny thing is, I had somebody that works at NASA recommend that I get this book. Because they were like, you understand the basics, but if you really want to understand the whole picture, get this. So I have no idea where it came from. I don't know how I got it. I'll be honest. I just found it in a box that I needed to clean out. So I don't know how this got here, but it's pretty sick. It's the entire end-to-end life cycle of a system, be it a satellite, rocket, a launch vehicle, anything. Going from life cycle, system design, product, realization, technical management. The technical management one is extremely long. Integration plans. Oh man, this has everything. NASA Systems Engineering Competency Model. Oh boy. This is sick. Yeah, I'm going to be reading this. I don't know where I got it. I have no idea how it's here. I don't know if I got it from a viewer or what. But anyway, is this book revision 2? I don't know. NASA SP 2016-6105 revision 2 supersedes SP 2007-6105 revision 1 dated December 2007. This is Rev 2. Yeah, Sci-Fi. I know that there's a PDF. Like, this is all public resource. You don't need to go get the book. You just go on NASA and get it. But having the book is really useful. Have you seen this? A Black Hawk helicopter made an emergency landing in the center of Bucharest, Romania. Well, that's something you don't see every day. It's rare to have that type of vulgarized engineering in a book. I don't think there are books on the ESA's engineering. Cool. Hey, Novus. Yeah. Dude, I don't know where this came from. I have no idea how I got it. I found it in a stack of books with other engineering books. I don't know how I got this. Call me a piece of crap. This, for all I know, this may have been a gift from a viewer, and that would make me feel really stupid. Systems engineering is a black hole. People having full careers in that discipline have fun. I like this. I like the macro stuff, Prey. This is the stuff that I enjoy, like figuring out the whole scope. You know, you see that with the launch pad and all the integration vehicles. That's systems engineering, right? Like, am I in the ballpark there? That's cool. I like that. I think that's fun. That's the stuff that I would probably like working on. The machine that builds the machine. You're welcome, Kappa. God damn it, Oba. All right, let's go into space news. Boop. So, we watched an RS-25 test yesterday out of Stennis, and the engine fired at 111% of rated performance for a set time, and at 113% of rated for a set time, which allowed operators to test the margin of safety. Nice. Yeah, 111 and 113. My guess is that's to test out engine out capability. In case one of the 4 engines on SLS fails, the other ones can pick up the slack, so to speak. Systems engineering focuses more on the vision and management. It's always something new to learn, man. Always something new. Fun. Anyway. Thousands of flamingos die in a drought in central Turkey. No. Oh! 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 No! Oh! 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 God, no! Get that off the screen! Oh! The poor flamingos! Why? I would flamingo more like flamingo. The poor flamingis.
I'm throwing away your birthday cake.
Ah! Why?
Because it's 2 weeks away.
It's 2 weeks away?
It's 2 weeks old.
It's 10 days old.
I think that's probably too old for a cake.
You're throwing away my cake? Throwing away my cake?
Do you not want me to throw your cake away?
You can do whatever you want, I don't care. But you can't throw it away! Baby! Why? There's like one piece left, Law Dog, I don't care. They didn't have a leg to stand on. Oh. Primo, destroyer of cakes. Guy bought some yellow cake. Are you sure it was yellow cake? Yes, I'm sure. Alright, anyway. 10 days to finish a cake. Pink, I'm trying to watch my figure here, okay? On any other day, I would have just ate the cake the day after my birthday, and then maybe left a piece for. Oh wait, I still left a piece for Primo. What the hell? It's because I'm trying to watch my figure. Geeson, obviously. First she wants the ice cream, now she's throwing away the cake. She's gone mad with power. Alright. What kind of cake was it? Double chocolate. I got double chocolate this year. But the cake that I usually get, that I usually want for my birthday cake, is strawberry shortcake. Nothing like strawberry shortcake on the 4th of July with fireworks and explosions and shortcake and burgers and hot dogs. Red velvet? Nice. Yeah, red velvet. I mean, all cakes are good. I don't mind. All pies are good, too. I just... See, people... It's just like the whole rocket argument. People say, you know, oh, cake versus pie. Cake's a lie. Pie's... Dude, they're dessert. You're missing the point. You get to eat dessert. As if. Anyway, speaking of Stennis, here, check this out. Stennis posted this picture here. This picture is from the late 70s. Check this out. They were installing shuttle motors into the MPTA here. The main propulsion testing article for the space shuttle. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, look at the nozzle prey. This is like gotta be in the mid-70s, dude. Look at the freaking nozzles. That's not the final design, that's for sure. The expansion ratio is all wrong. That's way too vacuum optimized there. Are they mock-ups? They don't look like mock-ups. I know that they had to mess with the expansion ratio to get it right a lot during RS-25 development. They had to mess with the nozzles, Ian. They didn't get the expansion ratio right. or they optimized it. They probably started with something and then changed it over time. I wouldn't say here that they didn't get it right, because there was really no precedent for getting it right. The crazy thing about shuttle engines, guys, is that shuttle engines can work down here and up there very efficiently on both ends of the spectrum. There's not a lot of rocket engines that can do that. And the reason is because of the nozzle. The shuttle's nozzle, if you notice, it doesn't look exactly like a first stage engine, but it doesn't look like an upper stage engine either. The reason is it's about halfway in between an upper stage and a first stage engine. It's good enough to fire down here, but it's also good enough to fire up there. It's really a 1 in a million. Not a 1 in a million, but it's very rare that you come across a rocket engine that's built to do that. The reason is because the shuttle engines needed to fire on the ground to keep the vehicle on an even keel, and then it needed to fire up there to get after the boosters separate so it can get into space, right? So RS-25s really are, it's a really awesome design. I really wish we wouldn't expend them, because the engine is great. The engine could be very easily utilized in an SSTO application for small satellites, like the XS-1, for instance, which got canceled also. But, yeah, very interesting. They went through a lot of different nozzle iterations over time. Yes, Dennis posted this. These are pre-production engines all day. Like the first Raptors that we saw. They were pre-production, which is pretty cool. You don't see that every day. Anyway, we're going to move over into the Russian news here. Let's see what the Russians are up to. I think this is encapsulation footage for the multi-purpose laboratory module for Nauka. Let's see what we got. Nice, bio. There you go. Not space, but planes. They fly. Loud. Alright, yeah, we'll take a look at that. Hey, Serenity. You love Russia? Oh. Russia's cool. Serenity, I like the Russians because it's one of the few other countries, save for like the Europeans and the Japanese. It's one of the few other countries that, have their own domestic launch capability, launch people into space, and launch people into space. The Russians are they're our counterpart. They're a counterpart, mutually beneficial in space, and they get it. They get it. They're, you don't see the Europeans launching people into space, or the Japanese, right? They get it. They know how to space. I always say that the Russian space program cut their teeth, and it's at the same time that the U.S. did, and they've learned a lot of lessons about space, and those lessons are inked with blood, just like ours are. So I really respect what they do over there, a lot, with their space program. Yeah. Sucks to live there, though. I'm talking about the space program, PHP. In terms of living, I've never been to Russia, so I don't know. There's Nauka, encapsulated. There it is. That's the Proton payload fairing adapter. Okay, they're gonna lift the PLF and the fairing with the not the capsule, the space station module inside. Countries, Europeans. I mean, yeah, okay. We'll just call the European stuff like it is, Vasi. You just want me to say French? Because Ariane is a French rocket. That's right. Oui. Happy Bastille Day to my French viewers. Storm de Bastille. Vive la Révolution. Now, from integration here, it'll move to... Well, that's processing. Now it's going to move to integration. They're moving it to the Proton rocket. Whoa. Don't drop that stuff. If it's failing, call it French. And if it's working, call it European. You're not German by any chance, Noctis, are you? Any idea what the red bits are in the fairing? Yeah, Hokie. HVAC. got to keep the payload cool. You don't want it overheating. It's not designed to work in the atmosphere. It would be, that thing down here is about as absurd as a, nice train, is about as absurd as a car working in space. Not a car in space. I can't use that analogy anymore. Elon ruined that one. So now they're going to move it out to the Proton launch site from processing in the MIK building. That's cool. You are? Bonjour. Yep. Has a gas car in space. Yeah, Fragment, we'll go with that. So, yeah, you got to keep the payload cool. So, the other thing that they're doing here is, and we do this too, everyone does this, because physics is annoying. They're keeping it cool. It's HVAC, but they're also keeping positive pressure inside of the fairing. The fairing in here basically has a draft, like a drafty house. Same thing. They keep positive pressure inside of this, and the reason why they do that is to prevent foreign object debris. They don't want dust and dirt getting inside of the fairing. So it keeps the thing cool, and it also prevents foreign object debris. Once again, everyone does that. The Orion that they moved to the launch escape system assembly facility, when the Artemis 1 Orion, when they went to install it, they put it inside of a big bouncy castle. But it was inside totally. Orion was basically inside of a big balloon, and it looked like a bouncy castle. That's how we do it. We just put it inside of a big balloon. Nalco will dock on the 29th. Starliner will dock on the 31st. Crazy, man. A lot of traffic up there. Ariane 5 used a lot of components made from other countries. I know. What's this meeting about? This is probably a planning meeting for integration, Genesis, if I had to guess. We do this too. Basically, everybody stands there, and it's like the safety briefing, just saying, okay, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to do it, and just kind of reviewing the plan and putting the rocket together. At least I'm pretty sure. Yep. So there it is, being moved. Okay, so you have TEM2. Love those. That's one of my favorite Russian locomotives. And then you have a TEU on a flat car, and then you have the payload fairing on its processing ring, and then in the back you have power and HVAC systems. The ducting goes into that blue car right there. That's just a car this thing basically just has a generator on it to keep the payload powered, and to keep the payload cool. He said unauthorized personnel should not be around during integration. There you go. That looks so post-apocalyptic. It's Baikonur, man. Baikonur is out in the middle of nothing. It would be like the U.S. having a launch site in the middle of Montana. There's nothing out there. Except Montana has more mountains than this. This is actually a better thing would be like Kansas. There's nothing out there. Baikonur is in the middle of nowhere because the Soviet Union originally started launching rockets from Kapustin Yar, but that was too close to the border, so they moved it further into the Soviet Union, in the Kazakhstan Socialist Republic. So they moved it further away from their borders so people couldn't see it. Warhead! Yeah, right. Wait a minute, that kid's 12. What are you doing there? Did you lie about your age, bro? That kid is 12. Looks like he should be in a TikTok or something. What is this? It's sad that the UK is not very ambitious in space. I don't know what news you're reading, Pink. Yeah, it could be an internship. Go back to TikTok, man. No. All right. Anyway, next Russian news here. Let's see what we got. Astronauts on the ISS will disassemble the old Russian spacesuit? Oh, okay. Not astronauts. Cosmonauts. Alright, I was going to say, are the Americans helping here? Why would they do that? Astronauts on the ISS will send the sleeves and legs of an old Orlan MK spacesuit to Earth. Orlan is the Russians' EVA, extravehicular activity spacesuit. That's it right there. Yeah, that's it. So one of the old spacesuits, the Orlan MK, aboard the ISS will be disassembled with the removal of unnecessary components. Following negotiations from the crew with Earth broadcast by NASA. Wait a minute, I'm confused. Well, Pink, actually, okay, just on a, pause the spacesuit conversation. Pink, the UK actually started doing, after Brexit, they started doing a huge split, and they started to make their own space program, believe it or not. They're even talking about opening up a launch site in Scotland, and there is a multi-use spaceport that they're trying to get off the ground figuratively and literally in Cornwall in the southwest part of England. So they have ambitions. Let's just see if they can do it. Since they, since Brexit, that was one of the byproducts of it. There's a lot of money being thrown around the UK in the aerospace sector since Brexit because they want their own domestic space program or something resembling it, at least, I guess. Isn't that in the north? Mm-hmm. Spacesuits of the Orlan family are used in... It's an extravehicular suit, okay. There are now 4 of them on the ISS. The old Orlan MK numbered 4 and 6, and the new Orlan ISS numbered 4 and 5.
Discovery, go at throttle.
The old spacesuits are kept at the station as a spare. According to communications between the ISS and the ground, Gennady Glazov, a specialist at Zvezda, the spacesuit developer, told Oleg Novitsky, a cosmonaut up on the station, that the old Orlan MK number 6 is planned to be temporarily transferred to one of the ISS American. It's going to be transferred into one of the USOS segments for storage, the US operational segment. John, 32-month resub. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. You're a cantaloupe. At the same time, according to Glazov, at the old Orlan MK with the number 4 suit, the cosmonauts will have to separate the sleeves and the pants for removal from the station on the cargo ship and leave the backpack with the helmet, the torso with the helmet and the knapsack on the ISS as spare parts. Now the 65th expedition is working on the ISS. The 65th expedition up at the ISS consists of Russian cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky and Peter Dobrov and a NASA astronaut Mark Van Hey. Shane Kimbrough, Megan MacArthur, Aki Hoshide, and Thomas Pesquet are up there on the Crew 2 mission. They came up in Dragon. So that's cool. They're going to part out the old suits, and they're going to leave some parts as spares. And can I see the translation back here? Let me back translate it, because they just say on the cargo ship. I want to see if that means what that exactly entails. It's going to go on a progress. They're going to dispose of it, Kem? They probably don't need all 4. They need to have some free spares before Nauka arrives. Yeah, Russian's going to be doing work installing that new module and getting everything hooked up. Because sometimes, guys, putting a module on is not just, oh, we docked it, it's good. Depending on what the module needs, like power needs and stuff, you have to actually go out there and plug the module in. It's not just the docking port. Okay, suit parts are going to be burned up with progress. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Neat. Interesting news. All right. Next news is coming. Oh, yeah. Nein, danke. Ja, bitte. Nein. I had this in as the next news here. Das ist die Formula Zukunft? Future? This is the future of Formula One? Yeah? Der Formula 1 Autos für, I don't know how to say 2022, sollen die Königsklasse spannender und spektakulärer machen. Why not just get the F1.com article? Because this was the one that was linked. I lost interest in Formula 1 with the Halo arrived. Yeah, Serenity, I hate the Halo. I hate it. I can't stand it. It looks stupid, and I just, it ruins the lines on the car. However, I understand why it's there. I know why it's there. It has definitely saved some people's lives since then. And the cars can go faster because of it, because, you know, the car's a little bit safer. You can actually go faster. I hate it. It looks ridiculous. It looks like you got a Jesus sandal sitting on top of the car. You know what I'm talking about with those Jesus sandals. But I get it. I understand. I'm over it, dude. I mean, I hate it, but it ain't going anywhere, and it's definitely saved some people's life. I mean, Roman Grosjean would be in a body bag right now if it wasn't for that Halo pushing the guardrail out of the way. Sorry for bringing it up. I couldn't resist. No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I don't... Here, let's see. Here. Why don't they just enclose the cockpit? It would look better. I don't... Enclosing the cockpit opposite for a Formula 1 car would be like having a fighter jet with no ejector seat. Having an open roof is how they get out of the car quickly if something goes wrong, like what Grosjean did. If Grosjean had an enclosed canopy, he would have survived the initial impact, then he would have been stuck in there. No, you need the roof open. You don't want a closed canopy car. That's a bad idea. Trust me, that's a bad idea. And I'll tell you, if we had some F-Zero Captain Planet stuff going on, that would be, or not Captain Planet, Captain Falcon. Captain Planet is something different. Can we Falcon punch Captain Planet? Do you think someone would get mad if we did that? Cool. All right. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, you can't have an open roof with these cars. If they flip, you're dead. If they flip and they catch on fire, that's game over. I don't want an ejector seat in Formula 1 either for what it's... That seems like a bad idea. I think the driver would have fun if there was an ejector seat, but with an ejector seat, you generally eject with the seat and then the rocket's detached. So, spectators, yeah, we don't need 55 Le Mans happening again. That's a bad idea. BP is way ahead of you with punching Captain Planet. Nice. Thanks, I'll never be able to unsee the slipper car. Now you know my pain, Beazle. Rockets next to the fuel tank. Peep OG, yeah, right. No, the Halo actually allows the cars to go faster. You can make the car go faster because you don't have to worry about something hitting the driver in the face at high speed. Look, I hate it. I hate how it looks, but I understand its function. It needs to be there. It absolutely needs to be there. If it's not, I mean, dude... Anybody, I think it was like Spa in 2016. No, it would have been Spa 2018. In the first corner, where I think Grosjean missed the brakes and he just drove right into the back of Alonso's car. The car went up and came down, and it came down on Leclerc's Alfa Romeo. It would have killed him. Oh yeah, it would have killed him. You could literally see the bottom of the car scraping off of the Halo and bouncing off. Oh yeah, no, he would be. That would have ended really bad. Yeah, nice, Thomas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Grilani. Yeah, no, having an open roof would be like having no open roof with a Formula 1 car is like not flying a fighter plane with no ejector seat, ironically. Formula E uses the Halo for LEDs that signal boost. Pretty cool use. Ew. Yeah, we don't need goose. Yeah, we don't need a goose situation in Formula 1. So, what's going on here? So, let's just go to F1.com. What's the F1.com article about? It's comparing the key differences here between the cars. Let's take a look. Is it any smaller? I don't know if they changed the wheelbase, Moto. These renders make it look like they did, but they could have just increased the side pod size to kind of make up for the fact that the car is a battleship when it comes to turning. F1 are giving top speed numbers in the ballpark of 240 miles an hour for the new cars. Yeah, I can definitely tell there's some huge aero changes here. Winglets on the front spoiler, and obviously a front spoiler that's designed to better deal with the turbulent flow that comes off the nose. You're still going to create a lot of drag right there, but that's good. Drag up here manifests itself as, you know, the wheels being pushed into the ground. Not much smaller, only by a few inches, and yeah, these cars have ground effect. That's right. That's cool, lols. You can see quantum travel from the ground. Neat. Yeah, Bank, I know. I see winglet. So it looks like the wing, what do they call it? The end element or something? It's just a winglet for the front wing. This thing is designed to make it so vortexes don't come off the end of the wing. Because how aero works, aero leaves a wake, all right? And if you have a wing like this that's designed to move air fast on one side and move it really slow on the other side, right? There's low pressure behind this spoiler right here, and there's high pressure on the front. Sometimes the air slides laterally over the wing, right? And with the nose cone there, it's going to push the air out, right? So it follows kind of these lines right here almost. What this thing does is it basically keeps the high pressure and the low pressure from meeting each other. Because when the high pressure and the low pressure meet each other, they create a swirl. That swirl is called a vortex. Vortices cause drag. They cause a lot of drag. So it's interesting that they're funneling this, and you can see that there's a canard right there. Yes, I get it. Don't freak out. There's a canard right here to help make the air go up and over the tire, and then that canard feeds into some kind of scoop on the top end of the tire that scoops it that way into the side pod. Air kind of works like a pinball machine. You can move it around and make it do different things. Like air will sweep off the canard, go up over the tire. This thing will make sure you don't get flow separation off the tire, and then it shoots it right into the side pod. So it makes the air go up and over. Pretty cool. Did you hear the news? I'm going to space. Well, not me, but another Dutch person, so that's like 70% you. Are you saying that Dutch people are inbred? That's weird. How will the DRS work with that curvy rear wing? Nibat, I'm not sure. But they definitely have a DRS actuator right here. That's what these two things are, right? That's what those two guys are right there. Yes, okay. And the barge board element seem to have reduced the amount of things you can put on the barge board. So the barge board right here is designed to, the wing and everything shoots the air up over the car, and it leaves low pressure right here. Seriously, if you had a piece of paper right here on a Formula One car hanging there, it would just hang there, even at high speed. It wouldn't flap in the wind. It's kind of crazy. You ever see like something hanging off the back end of a car when it's driving down the road and it's just hanging there? It's not like blowing in the wind. It's because there's low pressure down there. The Formula One cars do that for downforce, and the barge boards basically make it so it keeps a pocket of low pressure underneath the car. Because if you have a wing up here that's moving the air up over the car, it's making high pressure on the top of the spoiler here. It's not a wing, it's a spoiler. We'll just call it wings, but I know it's a spoiler, right? If you have a lot of elements up here that are making high pressure and low pressure underneath the car, it sucks the car into the ground. It basically creates a vacuum underneath the car that's enough to compress the suspension at high speed. And the barge boards here seem to have all this stuff attached to them, at least on the McLaren here, They have all this stuff attached to them to make sure the air doesn't go under there. That's what all this stuff is, and all this junk is on the side of the Formula One car. They want to keep low pressure underneath the car. And then at the back, you have a gigantic diffuser where that plate ends up going up the back end. Like if you were looking at the back end of the car, the two tires are here. The plate does this because it takes that low pressure and makes even lower pressure over the back of the car. And that makes drag underneath and high pressure over the wing right here, and that sucks the rear wheels into the ground at high speed, so you can keep traction. That's why Formula One cars can handle like fighter jets on wheels. Like flaps on an airplane. Yeah, pretty much. What about if you're Hertogenbusch? I'll donate money if you pronounce that correctly. I don't know what that means, but yes. They're also bringing the beam wing back. Beam wing? Looks like there's less space for the engine. Well, we can read about the specs here. Let's see. Okay. The first difference you notice between the 2021 front wing and the 2022 one is that they're a completely different shape. From the alignment of the elements themselves to the shape of the end plates. Yeah, they call the end plates winglets. Or they call the winglets end plates. Those are in plain nomenclature, that's a winglet. The 2022 version is designed to be a lot more neutral than the current generation of highly complex designs, meaning it's less aerodynamically sensitive when a driver is running close behind another car, and directs airflow in a less disruptive way. That's what those canards and what these things are about. You don't want... The problem with Formula One right now is that these cars create a lot of turbulent air behind them. That turbulent air, if it hits another car's front spoiler, will basically make the spoiler do nothing. It's like jet wash with fighter planes. Jet wash makes your plane not do anything. Or a microburst, if you know what that means. It makes your plane not plane very well. It makes the cars much more reliant on mechanical grip than aerodynamics to handle around the corners. And if they're more reliant on mechanical grip, that means shredding the tires. It's a problem that Formula One has had for 10 years, and nobody wanted to fix it until now. No engine development until 2026. Ew. Remember dirty air, the heavily disrupted airflow coming off of the car. One of the major reasons why drivers struggle to follow... Oh, it says it right there. Okay, cool. Microbursts are scary, Mike. Microbursts, you would never see it coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's creepy. Hey, Balk, what's going on? Another thing that will help is the disappearance to the so-called Y250 vortex. The name given to the vortex that comes off the inner tips of the current generation of front wing flaps that affects pretty much everything behind it. Yeah, that front wing is on the older cars is throwing so much air out. That's where a lot of the turbulent flow comes from. Any type of aerodynamic element that needs to move air in a certain direction needs what's called laminar flow. Laminar flow is basically undisrupted air. It's air that has a uniform pressure. You need a uniform pressure hitting the wing, and you need the wing to change the pressure. Problem is, behind the wing, you get a lot of turbulent flow. Like the wake of a ship, same thing. If you're a boat that's riding in the wake of another boat, it's going to be a lot bumpier of a ride. Same kind of thing going on here. Only one is water, one is air. I understand they're different. Secret Me, 6-month resub. Dirty air, 4% at 20 meters is nuts. Yep, with the inner tips now effectively gone, the challenge of controlling this vortex, especially when the car is following another one, is gone. Are they still going to have DRS then? Yep, see, there's the rear diffuser. The rear diffuser on these is much bigger. Oh, yeah, these will go faster. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna go quicker. Have you seen this? What's that, Noobly? Yeah, I have that open on my other computer. I'll save that for last. Air and water are both considered fluids. I know, Seg, but if I say air and water are both considered fluids, someone's going to say no, they're not. Water is a fluid, air isn't. And if I say it is, people are going to say it. If I say it isn't, people are going to say it is, dude. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. It's just... Yeah, no. I understand that air and water are both fluids. Air is fluid at high speed, and it acts like water at high speed, which is funny to me because people don't realize that. A plane leaves a wake, just like a boat would at high speed. And the wake angle is like a boat is or a ship is entirely dependent on how fast you're going. Yep. But yeah, I know the difference, Seg. There's no way I can say it without someone being like, well, actually, I want to be technical right now in a scenario where it's totally not required to be technical. I want to do that just because. Hey, people got to get their hit. I get it. They got to get that. Oh, I gotcha. You know, like, I get it. You know. Look at the rear diffuser on this wing. Yeah, quite. See the lower rear wing, aka the beam wing. Yeah, right here. That looks like it's directing the air that's coming off the side pods, Hellfish, yeah? They had one there, but look at the angle of incidence on it, man. Quite big. But look at the size of the diffuser. So this is what I mean. Look at the diffuser on the old car. You still have a similar amount of air coming underneath it, but if you have air at pressure trying to fill up a much bigger space quicker, right? The pressure drops like a Venturi, like on a carburetor. Everybody's seen the Smarter Everyday video, right? Same thing. This is half of a Venturi. So if you look at the bottom of the car from the side, so like your rear tire is right here, right? And then the bottom of the car is right here, and then the ground is... How do you do that again? Bottom of the car is right here, the ground is here. If behind the tire, right, the diffuser does this, right, and then the ground keeps going, you have air at pressure here that spreads out over this area. That creates low pressure. And then you have the wing up here, right, that's getting oncoming air, it's getting laminar flow, and then forcing it up. You have very high pressure up here. Or, we'll just use the arrows again. You have a high change in pressure. Like this, right here, you have low pressure on the bottom, high pressure on the top. That's downforce. That's going to create an aerodynamic force that pushes down, forcing the rear tires into the ground and creating traction at high speeds. The diffuser, right? The diffuser, look at the cavity on the diffuser. It's gigantic compared to the other cars. It's freaking huge. These cars will create insane downforce at high speeds. Yeah, they have ground effect. Yeah, nuts, man. Have you seen this? I have it in the Space News. How much of the air is dirty behind the other car? Does the downforce from the other car... Well, they've reduced the dirty air from what they've said in this article here. No, regulations are kind of come up with based off of what the drivers want, the racing, and what the FIA wants. They change them every couple of years. On a season-to-season basis, they might do some small revisions, but you're generally never going to see a car change this much in Formula One. That doesn't happen very often. When will F1 cars go electric? No. Yeah, these cars have low-profile tires, giving the cars a contemporary, aggressive look. Because everything has to be a European touring car, right? No, I'm just kidding. Another difference is the introduction of wheel covers, which have been used in F1 before, but are now mandatory to help keep the airflow clean and limit what teams can do around tires aerodynamically. The introduction for the first time of overwheel winglets, or wake control devices. See what I mean about that thing over the tire is keeping the air from going up. And vectoring it back at the side pods. These things right here below the mirrors. Good call. Formula E, never heard of it? Yeah. Yeah, because, I want to watch cars that are very similar go slower. Yeah. Yeah. Because the point of racing is to go slower. Right? Yeah, I don't need to watch that. Again, when it comes to shape, there are minimal similarities between the 2021 wing and the 2022 version. In fact, the retention of the drag reduction system movable flap in the rear wing is about the only similarity with the current car. Visually, the 2022 rear wing is very different. With its upper rolled tips, these things right here. See, the reason why the wing is angled out and why it looks like half of a bow tie right here is to catch air, catch turbulent flow coming off the side pod, and it's designed to catch a wake, basically. Like there's something here that's generating a crazy wake. It could be the exhaust of the car or something, but I don't think it is. The exhaust right there. It's designed to catch something coming off the side pods and do something. It's doing an XB70 Valkyrie, only upside down. That's why these things go out like that. I can already tell you that right now. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. The new design is specifically to draw the aerodynamic wake up and over the following car rather than directly onto it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Mappy, it looks like it's the air coming from the radiators, dude. It's designed to catch that wake and vector it up and out like a pinball machine. Aerodynamics on cars works like a pinball machine. You bounce off one thing, you find another thing, it bounces off another thing. You can shoot air off in different directions. Basically, the wing is shaped like this with this huge piece right here to shoot the air up and over, shoot the turbulent air up and over a car behind it so you can draft people, which is cool. Should see tighter racing that way. You should. Oh. Oh. Look at that. Yeah, they're talking about the barge boards. See this piece right here? That's called a barge board. It's, once again, I already talked about it. It's designed to, oh, that's the next news. It's designed to keep low pressure underneath the car. Formula One changed the rules, and now there's tunnels. There's a tunnel that goes underneath the car. And these tunnels right here, see the intakes? There's basically an intake right there. And that tunnel goes underneath the car, and it pipes into that diffuser. It pipes into this area here to get tons of low pressure on the bottom of the car, and at high speed that pushes the rear wheels into the ground. It's called ground effect. Now keep in mind, ground effect with airplanes, it's doing the same thing, but it's doing it for a different reason. Ground effect on an airplane basically is what happens when the wing of a plane gets really close to the ground, and it compresses the air between the ground and the wing. The turbulent air coming off is basically deflected at the ground, and that creates a huge high pressure pocket of air, like an air cushion that that planes can fly on. Hence this thing. Yeah, the Sea Monster. Awesome plane. The Lund class Ekrenoplane. Yeah. Those things are cool. They use ground effect. It's a boat, so it starts as a boat and then it accelerates, right? And then these wings, if you look, they're kind of shaped like this. It's like almost, the wing is almost a C, right? And that shoots the air down here, and between the back end of the wing and the water, it compresses the air enough against the ground, and it makes it so at speed these wings generate crazy amounts of lift, but they only generate enough. The Sea Monster doesn't work if these wings go too far off the ground. They're too small to be able to lift the plane up like to a higher altitude. It can only go so high, and then it comes back down, and then you die, which is what happened to one of them. You really can't get too high off the ground with these wings, or else the wings don't wing anymore. Is it classified as a plane or a hovercraft? Not a hovercraft. This is called an Ekrenoplane. Ekrenoplane. It's not a hovercraft. It uses a similar idea as a hovercraft, but the difference between a hovercraft and this, right, is that this thing only does hovercraft things at high speed. A hovercraft does hovercraft things at any speed because it has something holding that air cushion underneath it. You want to see a Russian hovercraft? Look up the Zuber. That's a Russian hovercraft. That thing is massive. It's friggin' huge. The Russians and the Greeks use these things. Yeah, it's crazy. The thing has, look at it, it has a bunch of little turrets on the front to provide fire support during a beach landing. And missile launchers too. Zubers are pretty cool. And even a crazier thing about the Zuber is that you don't need to inflate the cushion. It's just a boat. When the cushion isn't inflated, it'll just float. The British ones were bigger. I don't think the Brits made one bigger than the Zuber. There's the Zuber, there's the LCAC, which is what the Marines use. It's pretty big. The landing craft air cushion is the modern day equivalent of a D-Day assault vehicle for the Marines. And then they have AAVs and LAV 25s as well. Actually, I don't even know if they use that stuff anymore. I don't remember. Yeah, look at that. They got 2 LAV 25s and 5 Humvees, and then there's actually another Humvee in the back. These things can carry a lot of stuff. The Russian one can carry just as much, and it's covered too. It's not open like this thing is. Yeah, the Russian one is a big armored box for all the stuff that it carries, and then the front just opens down. It opens down on the air cushion. See right there? And then tanks and stuff pop out, which is crazy. But yeah, ground effect works in this very similar regard. But with a car, right? With a car, it's taking that air and forcing it underneath, and it's forcing it underneath, not to generate lift, but to generate downforce. You have that cavity there's tunnels underneath the car. So the bottom, if you looked at the bottom of these Formula One cars, right? Here's the tire. Here's the other tire, right? This is the bottom of the car. It has tunnels. And these tunnels have the air coming through them, right? And those tunnels, here's your cool wing and your side pod. Hey, there you go. These tunnels down here, right? They feed into that diffuser and create extremely low pressure back here. The ground effect is used. Ground effects is still utilized, but it's upside down. Planes use the ground effect, or aeroplanes use the ground effect for lift. These things use them for downforce. So it's reversed. Pretty crazy, right? You can reverse aerodynamics like that. Just like a spoiler on a car, if you turn the spoiler upside down, it'll generate lift. It'll become a wing. Yeah, you can mess with aero like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, see, this change in floor shape will allow the teams to create large amounts of downforce through the ground effect. Downforce will be less impacted when following another car, and at the same time, produce less disruptive airflow. Yep. The flow separation angle that you're going to get off the end of this diffuser is designed to go up. So if it's designed to go up and another car is behind you, right, you're not hitting that turbulent wake. Asymmetrical tires. You going circle track racing? Nice. Nice. Human. Did you see the scrappy wing design? Yeah. Looking at the two cars in profile, it's clear that the 2022 car is a lot cleaner, especially around the area. Yeah, these sleek edges and stuff are all designed to create less drag, less of those aerodynamic wakes that I'm telling you about. It's sleeker. You probably have I'll bet you the front of these cars have a much lower drag coefficient. I mean, just look at this car and look at how much stuff is in the way comparatively to this car. This thing has all kinds of stuff in here, and just mirrors and all this other junk, and the wing's a weird shape. This thing looks a lot sleeker. This thing probably has a much lower drag coefficient, if I had to guess. And I like that they went back to the nose has to be a small distance off the ground. I like that. That's gonna make the cars look like the cars from the early 90s, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, that's pretty cool. These Hellfish, these will go fast. These cars will go very fast. I agree, Ananas. Cars are only half the battle. Racing NASCAR on a road course, racing NASCAR on a Formula One track is not the same as racing Formula One on a Formula One track, right? The track needs to suit the venue. I wonder if how they're gonna make up for it. All right. Looking at the two cars in profile, it's clear that the 2022 car is a lot cleaner, especially the area around either side of the cockpit where the current barge boards and other bits of aerodynamic furniture seen on the 2021 car used to tweak and cudgel the air along the car are no longer form part of the design. You see all this junk, all this stuff right here on this car creates really high amounts of drag. But the reason why this one will go faster despite all this stuff to help vector the air around and help make the car go faster. The reason why is because of that ground effect thing that I'm telling you about. With the ground effect thing, you're going to create all the downforce that you can in the world. Like I said at the beginning of this, Serenity, if you're still here, the halo might look stupid. It looks ridiculous. I can't stand it. But that makes the car safer, and it makes the car go... You can make the car go faster now. Yeah, you can make it go faster now. Case in point. You can make it go faster now. Fire Tilke, first off. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled for the returning of cooling exit louvers on the bodywork, which were banned post-2008, but are permitted again for 2022 and will be a key area of freedom for teams to exploit. Not faster, quicker in corner. Sure about that? Did you know that the middle part of the car is producing lift instead of downforce? Yeah, that's what compressing air underneath a car does, Boxy. That's ground effect has that problem. If you diffuse it correctly at the back, it shouldn't be an issue. As long as the net force of the diffuser and the net force of the front, the net downforce of the diffuser and the front wing are 2 or 3 fold higher than the lift that's created from the ground effect compression, it should be fine. At that point, it's about chassis rigidity. I bet you because of that, teams will have problems with the ground effect. If you can get the chassis to be more rigid, right? Because if it bends like this, it's obviously going to throw everything out of alignment, right? I bet you chassis rigidity is going to be huge with these cars. Yeah, you're going to need to, this thing needs to stay stiff for it to work correctly, because if the chassis bends at all in a way that you don't want, the ground effect doesn't ground effect and your car turns into a wing. It does something similar to Mark Webber at Le Mans on the Mulsanne Straight in '99. You guys remember that? Driving the CLK GTR, where his car just literally took off like an airplane and flew into the woods? Yeah. Well, Senna is different, Tessa, but yeah. Weren't the skirts banned back when they first got the idea? Ground effects? Yeah, ground effects were banned in the 70s because of that reason. They were banned in the 70s because they were dangerous. If the car hit a bump and caught a cushion of air, the ground effect generates lift and whoosh, up into the air. People were flying off the track, literally flying off the track. Yeah, it killed some people if I'm remembering right. The latest tech regs. Oh, I'll have to read that. He just wanted to do a flip. I mean, I want to race fighter jets just as much as the next guy, but this is not a fighter jet, man. Let's go to the Reno air races if we want to see stuff fly and go fast. Yeah, the cooling fan. Yeah, the BT46, Tessa. Good call. Cooling fan. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, no, it's just pointed down to pick up that air from the bottom because drag and stuff. Let's see. Not something we can picture, but the weight of the cars is going up by 5%. Not something we can picture. Yeah, all this extra stuff on here is, yeah it's going to be heavier. 750 kilos to 790 kilos. That's 1,700 pounds. Between 16 and 1,700 pounds. I mean, these things are still light. This thing is pretty much as light as a Volkswagen Beetle. Like 4 or 5 guys could probably pick the thing up. Yeah, Tessa. The only thing that would make this cool if they brought refueling back, but we can't be seen. We can't. Formula One can't be seen having carbon emissions. No, we can't. We can't do that. We can't be seen doing carbon emissions. So no refueling. However, given that the new tires have been designed to be less prone to overheating, I believe that when I see it. Amongst other things, most fans would agree that's a price worth paying. Refueling was so boring, though. I guess. I'll believe these tires being less prone to overheating and popping when I see it, especially what happened at Baku this year. You guys remember that? You guys remember that crap fest? Freaking Max driving down the main straight, tire fails. Nope, tire fails. Oh, here, have this wall. Refueling is pointless with these engines. They have plus 50. It's just to bring more strategy in Balxy. I mean, if Formula One's gonna double down on strategy, then that's the way to do it. But I guess if they're doubling down on trying to create a tighter pack and create closer racing, then you don't want to refuel. That makes sense. Video on the new tires. Got it. Well, to be honest, everyone has much more experience with lower profile. I guess. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's had the same problem. The other factor that has affected the weight of the car is the increased safety requirements, with the magnitude of crash tests being increased to ensure drivers will be better protected. Yeah, that's the nice way of saying that they don't want chassis flex. Chassis flex will get somebody killed, especially with ground effect. Chassis flex with this would be like the acrenoplane going too high. If the acrenoplane goes too high, you either have to figure out a way to slow your descent enough to catch the cushion, or you're crashing right into the water. Spoiler alert, dropping a boat from like 30 meters, especially one as big as a destroyer, doesn't end well for the destroyer. Like if you just had a boat up 30 meters off the ground and let it go and splash into the water, it'll probably break the ship in half. Yeah, the chassis flex here with ground effect would, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, to make it seem like, oh, it's about the drivers. Well, I mean, and it is, but you do not want this chassis to flex. If it flexes, you die. Any idea why Red Bull has changed with season to become much more dominant? I think people are focusing, Mercedes, Ferrari, Haas, everyone is focusing on this car. I think Red Bull is the only one that's not focusing on this car. When I say this car, I mean the 2022 car. I think that's why they got the edge on Mercedes, because Mercedes is thinking about next season. The reason why I think that is because Lewis signed a 2-year contract with Mercedes a couple of weeks ago, extending 2022 and 2023. Yeah, they're focusing on the next car. Yeah. Refueling wasn't boring. I agree. I think the people that say refueling was boring don't remember old Formula One races, Tessa, but that's just me. I mean, I've been watching Formula One for a long time, and I know the European people are going to be like, yeah, okay, an American watching Formula One for a long time. I've been watching Formula One with my dad since 1996. I've been a Ferrari fan since then. We've had some ups and downs. Mostly downs. Gene Alesi and Gerhard Berger were the drivers for Ferrari when I started watching, and then Schumi came in a little later, and that was the end of that. And then Schumi left a little later, and that really was the end of that. Mostly down. Mostly down. It's mostly down, let's be real. It's true. Next year, Max, next year. We'll get him next year. Drone footage of... I have that in... Thomas, yeah, we have shortfall of gravitas stuff. All right, that's cool. I don't mind the aero changes for the 2022 car, guys. I'm worried about the salary cap stuff that they're trying to implement into Formula One to limit R&D. I don't think that's going to work correctly. Teams will just find ways to cook the books to make it look like they're adhering to the rules. And yeah, I think this is going to it's going to create close racing for a couple of years, but when people figure out better ways to skirt the rules, you'll start seeing one team dominate in a couple of years. That's just honest opinion. It could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but, I mean, I hope I am, you know. I don't, there's, you know, you're going to implement a salary cap to say you can only have a certain amount of engineers on the payroll, and guess what? You'll go to Ferrari's factory, and there will be a bunch of engineers that decided to have a change of heart and work in food services instead. You know? You know, oh, welcome, Formula One people, to our Ferrari factory. What can we do for you? Oh, mate, you're adhering to the salary cap, aren't you? Oh, yes, I adhere to it, to the stringent standard. The rules are very clear to us, and we understand them great. So what's that guy over there doing? Ah, that is Enrico. Enrico, he was an engineer, but now he has change of heart. He likes to make espresso. He makes espresso for the team, yes. Wait, wasn't that your lead aerodynamicist over there? Yes, but he decided he does not want to do this anymore. He wants to make espresso. He is our espresso guy now. What about that guy over there? Yes, that is Luca. He is a premier tires and suspension specialist, or at least he was until he decided to join the custodial arts. Yes. He's our janitor. He cleans up the poop now. Yes, we are adhering to all the salary stuff completely correctly. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's going to happen. You're going to see engineers just decide to have a current change of heart. A mechanical engineer, you're going to say, oh, yeah, no, he's a janitor now. Yeah, it's a janitor. Yeah. Didn't Merck move some people to the regular Merck firm? That guy works on road cars. He's just here to evaluate the performance of the Formula One car. Yeah, we're not doing anything wrong. Are you sure he's not helping you? No. He works in the road car division now. No, he doesn't help us at all. He just wants to enjoy the race. And why is he reading the telemetry off the Formula One car? Oh, it's just to evaluate road car performance. That's what's going to happen, man. I'm calling it now. But the aero changes are dope. The aero changes are really cool. Anyway, a little bit of Formula One news. Let's jump back into space news, okay? Watch Ferrari concentrate on next year and be even worse than now. My expectations are low, Bauxy. My expectations are low. Yeah, we'll just say low. Little off. Do you ever plan on getting back into flight sim? I would like to, Hateful, at some point. Yeah. All right. Anyway, check this out. So this is coming from China's Mars rover here. China's Zhurong rover has approached and imaged the parachute back shell, which helped the vehicle land successfully. So they drove the rover back over to the aerodynamic back shell and the parachute that helped it land. That's actually pretty cool. Here's another, got a little bit of a higher res picture here. That's what'll happen, Boxy. Mm-hmm. Well, it could be worse than the 91 to 94 cars. Just an unselfish shout out. Those streams are really good. And Das is the one that produces them, Bandit. We're leaving trash on Mars. You forgot your Kappa, Genesis. Ooh, smirks. Well, yeah, I don't know how to play off that joke. I'm just going to say that that's funny. Hope the wind doesn't catch the chute and hit the rover. I don't think the wind is strong enough to do that, man, but I could be wrong. Anyway, let's keep reading. Let's go over here. The Zhurong landed on May 14th after 3 months in orbit making preparations for its landing. The 240 kilogram solar-powered rover captured images of the discarded items. Cool. The rover has now driven 450 meters in Utopia Planitia. We gonna build some ships here. Anyway. And as of July 15th, Beijing time, according to the China Lunar Exploration Program. Okay, you guys noticed that too. All right, anyway. I think that might be a typo. Parachute and back shell located 350 meters south of the rover's landing platform. That's cool. That's cool that they went and imaged it. I would hope that Perseverance goes and images the sky crane. That would be kind of cool, but I don't think that's a primary mission for it as well. Pretty neat. All right, next thing here. NASA seeks to... okay, so this is coming from Jeff Faust. This one's also coming from Space News. NASA seeks proposals for commercial space station development. NASA seeking proposals for a program to support the development of commercial space stations, even as funding for that effort is in jeopardy in Congress. Yeah, the spending bill for 2022 came for NASA yesterday, and this thing, commercial low Earth orbit destinations, so like commercial space stations, that program got drastically underfunded because of no real concrete long-term goal. The program is very fragmented at this point in time. Jeff will probably talk about it here. NASA published a request for proposals on July 12th for Commercial Low Earth Orbit Development, or the CLD program. The effort, announced earlier this year, will provide funding for the initial studies of commercial space stations that could ultimately be used by NASA and other customers. Proposals are due to the agency on August 26th. NASA expects to award between 2 and 4 Space Act agreements to support these studies, with up to $400 million available for fiscal years 2022 to 2025. NASA anticipates a second phase of the program to start in 2026, where the agency would certify commercial space stations for use by both NASA payloads and astronauts. The CLD program is part of NASA's broader low Earth orbit commercialization strategy, tied to its plans to transition from the ISS to one or more commercial space stations. That process is likely to take a decade, given interest by both NASA and Congress to continue operations of the ISS through the 2020s. I think it's going to be the third leg in the stool for low Earth orbit, along with commercial cargo and crew, said Phil McAllister, Director of Commercial Spaceflight Development at NASA headquarters. All 3 pieces of that infrastructure are necessary to be in commercial hands, so you need those synergistic relationships among those three, and costs will come down. Okay, I got it. I didn't read that exactly right. Those future commercial space stations, he acknowledged, won't be as large or as capable as the ISS, at least initially. In terms of the amount of research volume, I do expect it to go down. He said, given the size of the ISS, future commercial stations, he said, likely will start smaller but expand as needed to meet demand. That's a very attractive model. You don't have to pay for a lot of infrastructure unless you're actually using it. Sense. NASA, though, continues to face an uphill battle to win congressional support and funding for the LEO commercialization strategy. The agency requested $150 million in fiscal years 2020 and 2021, but received only $15 million and $17 million respective. Frick. Yesterday it was 45. Oh, 45 for 2022. Okay, I got it. I already have that open, goalie. It's over here. It's actually, grouped in here. I'll get to it. House Appropriators, in a report released July 14th, accompanying its version of a Commerce, Justice, and Science spending bill for fiscal year 2022, again cut the program. NASA sought $101 million for a commercial low Earth orbit development, but the House bill offers less than that amount, $45. Okay, there we go. The committee is concerned that NASA lacks clear goals and metrics for the transition away from the International Space Station. They directed NASA to conduct a study on ISS transition plans, including future requirements for a continuous human presence in LEO and review of industry capabilities. You know what? As much as I want to dump on Rule 8 people, that makes sense. Have a plan and we'll fund it. That's what I'm getting from that. I actually don't mind that. That seems right to me. Such a report should also discuss expectations for how NASA will sustain global leadership in space science research in the absence of a NASA-owned and operated space station. The full House Appropriations Committee is scheduled to mark up that spending bill July 15th and send it to the full House, to the House of Representatives. Senate Appropriations have not yet introduced their own version of a fiscal year 2022 spending bill. Interesting. I'm thinking. I'm just kind of taking in that information. See, on one hand, if you make a bunch of commercial low Earth orbit science outposts, right, and then you farm the science out on a commercial, you still train the astronauts, but you farm out the transportation to like SpaceX or Boeing, and then you farm out the station to a provider, and then they can use a commercial provider like Falcon 9 or whatever to push that thing up into space and have the space station on orbit, right? NASA can basically do everything. You can create a healthy and robust commercial low Earth orbit economy, and that's not a good idea. And you can scale that with what you need. That's what McAllister is talking about. But on the other hand, that puts NASA science development, which, remember, NASA is there. The reason why we sink money into NASA is to gain scientific understanding of things. That bottlenecks NASA and makes them beholden to corporations to conduct science up in space. Now, when I say beholden to corporations, that sounds very derogatory. It sounds bad. It's not necessarily bad. NASA is beholden to corporations to launch people to the ISS right now. SpaceX is the only one that can do it from American soil. That's going to change soon, and we'll talk more about that later. But, hey, Sunshine, what's going on? See, that article actually kind of made me think. When the guy was talking about scaling with demand, so like you have that on one hand, and that's cool. On the other hand, over here, you have the International Space Station, which is underutilized right now because we don't have enough ways to get to it. Seriously, the ISS has been understaffed since the end of the shuttle program. And the ISS ain't getting any younger. Starliner couldn't launch up to the ISS to do the orbital flight test mission when Starliner was ready, which was like 6 months ago. Starliner has been sitting in a hangar, literally waiting for a spot to open up at the ISS because Dragon capsules are taking up all the space. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, somebody's launching people into space. That's good. So, on the other hand, the ISS is totally underutilized. It's like the VAB in that regard, NASA's VAB at Kennedy Space Center. It only is using one high bay for SLS. You have 4 high bays. NASA is footing the bill for all 4 high bays, but only using one. That's like buying a 3,000 square foot warehouse and putting a cubicle in it. You're wasting money at that point. The ISS is the same way. They need to. So, on the other hand, if you have a NASA in-house space station like the ISS or Skylab or whatever, and NASA has its own way to get people there, they can always have a constant kind of IV drip of science, so to speak. And then if that hits capacity, then you could go to the commercial destinations. But I'm not sure doing, entirely one, where you have one station that has a ton of capacity, but you can't get enough spaceships to it, or doing the full commercial thing over here. having a bunch of small stations that you can expand with demand and then farming out science and scaling with the demand there is the right move. What do you do? This one could offer, I guess, more long-term goals, but also at the same time, what if these corporations just decide that we don't want to run these stations anymore? It's not profitable. What happens to these? It takes a lot to put a space station up on orbit. What happens then? What happens then when, some dingbat in Congress says that, nah, commercialization of low Earth orbit is a waste of our time. We need to focus going on the moon, going back to the moon or going to Mars or something. Defund that, pretty much like what they're doing right now. I don't know if that's a good idea. See, in my mind, guys, and this is my opinion, once again, if people disagree with it, that's cool. Just be civil, all right? That's all I ask. NASA needs in-house capability. They need in-house capability, but they also have... The in-house capability is to set a baseline for what they're doing, right? So they need a way to basically launch people into low Earth orbit only, so not SLS. They need another way. The honest opinion, constellation, guys, that's what I'm getting at. But also, they need a way to be able to scale the science. So if NASA has a space station, right, their own space station, NASA's space station, Skylab 2 or something, right, and they bring Ares 1 back or something, and we launch Orion there, and we hit capacity with that space station, right? You could have private space stations fill in for the demand. But also at the same time, if NASA doesn't reach demand for scientific research in low Earth orbit fluctuates. It fluctuates a lot, right? Sometimes people are doing other things, right? What's to say that those commercial space stations, and companies footing the cost for them, wouldn't just say, screw it, yeah, you're using your own station, you don't need ours, we'll just deorbit it. Yeah, it is different apocalypses. The science in lunar orbit is in what's generally regarded as deep space. Deep space is outside of Earth's magnetic field. Why would something be limited to an amp? Why would something be limited to an amp load be able to take more amps at colder temperature? Thermodynamics. Phone sister, I'm sure there's an electrical engineer that can answer that question. I know it's thermodynamics, but I don't know exactly why. You know why? Because the ISS was designed to get bigger spacecraft with bigger crews. Funny story, Supercraft, yeah. You just want to see Ares 1 fly. Well, no, Core, it's been an idea that I've been kind of honing on over time. I really think the idea stems from the $30 billion stuff that I always say. Canceling Constellation was a stupid idea. Pawning low Earth orbit transport capability off to commercial partners, while beneficial in the long run, has really hurt NASA in the last decade, in my opinion. You know what? I'm not even going to put my opinion. That's not up for debate. It absolutely has. NASA can't launch people into space. The Space Flight Organization can't launch people into space. All right? I'm not even going to say in my opinion. It's not even open for judgment, right? Now, on the other hand, the commercial development that's been had, Dragon 2, Starliner, and to some extent Starship, is a much more long-term solution. But I still think it's important, just like having SLS and Starship be able to get us to the moon. I think now that I'm really thinking about this, if we want to take commercial low Earth orbit destinations, if we want to really commercialize low Earth orbit that way, NASA should have its own domestic launch capability. It should have an in-house rocket, something that takes the place of Ares 1. Because if you don't, that puts science on orbit, beholden to a corporation. What if the corporation doesn't want to do it anymore? That's just going to create stagnation. NASA's going to say, no, please keep doing it. We'll pay you. All right, fine. That's exactly what happened when the launch market crashed in '97. It stagnated the industry hard. So It looks like Rockstar took the car meet idea and releasing an update on the 20th at Futures One. That's cool. Commercial crew should have required Orion. No, Pigzig, I'll just go out on the limb and say that that canceling Constellation and replacing it with Journey to Mars and SLS was a knee-jerk reaction. And that was a mistake. It was a bad idea. I understand the circumstances as to why it happened and when it happened, because it was in the wake of the recession. I get it. But yeah, that was really, really stupid. That was a really stupid idea. Commercial crew is the good thing that came out of it. But also at the same time, anybody that knows a little bit about their spaceflight history knows that commercial crew didn't come with the cancellation of SLS. Commercial crew was a subset of a NASA program called the Commercial Orbital Transport Services Program. COTS was the program that started under the Vision for Space Exploration. So it was commercial crew and Commercial Orbital Transport Services was a subset of Project Constellation originally. Yeah, that's it. It was a subset of it, so it wasn't even started when they canceled Constellation. SpaceX got their first contract for Falcon 9 in 2008 to build Falcon 9 to resupply the ISS. Because the idea with Constellation is that NASA would pick up the slack while the commercial partners were building. Well, SpaceX was building something like Dragon, right? NASA would pick up the slack by launching Ares 1, and then use Ares 1 and Ares 5 to go to the moon. And then once we got a good outpost on the moon, they would use commercial crew to resupply space stations. And if they needed another space station, they could just launch one on Ares 5. Nice, Bandit. There's a book called Rocket Billionaires that talks all about that. Yeah. SpaceX had a payload on STS, on 133, the Dragon Eye. Yep. It's interesting, dudes. See, like, I was gung-ho about commercial low Earth orbit destinations, but it's being underfunded for a reason. And it's kind of the reason, once again, coming from the House of Representatives, or the Commerce, Justice, and Science Committee, I should say. The reason is because there's no clear direction here. Basically, NASA said, we want to commercialize low Earth orbit, and we need this much money to do it. And then the Rule 8 people are saying, all right, how do you want to do that? And NASA goes, well, we could do this. We could do this. We could do this. And then the Rule 8 people are saying, well, what about the ISS? What are you going to do with that? Well, I don't know. We could have the ISS, and we could have a commercial station, and them going, yeah, no. Figure out a plan, then come back to us. Which, you know what? As screwed up as this sounds, and this is a very, very rare thing for me, I agree with them. I agree with the politicians. Oh, that stuff. Oh, that felt dirty to say. I don't like that at all. Oh God, I need to go take a shower after that. Wait a minute. Okay, I just want to clarify. Are politicians actually being fiscally responsible here in this situation? Okay. Yep, the apocalypse is here. All right, cool. Cheers. We're going down with the ship, guys. Yep. Cheers. Going down with the ship. The apocalypse is happening. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Anyway. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. I mean, wasn't the ocean on fire the other day? And didn't the guy get eaten by a whale? And then spit... Oh, God. Uh-oh. Does the SLS moon upper stage run on monopropellant? No. All planned stages for the SLS Senshai run off hydrogen, liquid and liquid oxygen. Who got eaten by a whale? There's a guy that got swallowed. Well, not swallowed. Got chomped by a whale and then spit out. Literally Jonah. If you're into that, yeah, that okay. Anybody see Slimer coming around? Speaking of Ghostbusters. And yeah, you know what the weird thing is, Facey? I went fishing in the exact spot like 2 days later because I was on vacation. I went fishing in that spot a little bit, couple days later after. Don't worry, it's not over yet. I still don't like Ford. Okay, all right, cool. All right. Well, that's normal. People giving me crap about my choice in automotive manufacturer. All right, cool. All right, we're good. We'll be all right. That's a big Twinkie. Tell him about the Twinkie. Everything was fine here until Dickless shut off the power grid. Is that true? Yes. This man has no dick. All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where NASA wants to go with CLEO or CLD. That's weird. It's weird that NASA wouldn't have a plan like that. But once again, I think this kind of, like, if I'm going to get on the soapbox for a second, this kind of shows why NASA needs to have its own redundant capability to a commercial provider. I will die on that hill. That it has to be that way. Because I don't want NASA beholden to corporations, and I don't want corporations beholden to the government either. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why the post office and FedEx still exist. Why does the post office exist? Because FedEx and UPS are, maybe not DHL, Euro guys, you know what I'm talking about. They can do it a lot better. But you got to remember that the post office isn't just about moving mail. They do a lot of other things. Just like NASA isn't about going and sending flags and footprints to the moon. It's about conducting the science, right? So having redundant capabilities and redundant dissimilar architecture between in-house stuff and commercial stuff, I think as I get older and kind of see this program unfolding, I think that's the right way to do it. Squirrel! Whales don't eat humans. The pharynx is only 20 centimeters wide. I didn't say eat a human. I tried to eat one and then spit him out. Supercraft. Yeah, it's true. It happened. And it Are you taking the Bible literally, Supercraft? That's the end root of this conversation. You're choosing to be technical about the Bible because I was making an apocalyptic joke because of a correlation of events in the Bible before Revelations, which means the end of the world. No, you're taking the Bible literally. Okay, have fun with that. Good call, man. Speaking of commercial low Earth orbits, maybe this is why relators tend to be old. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do you have Yodel in the U.S.? Negative. Laughs in atheism. I mean, King Kitten, I'm pretty sure that the people that aren't atheists, don't take the documents literally, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Somebody wants to clue me in on that, do it on a private message because, yep. Anyway, let's change the subject. All right, sweet. So this is coming from Thales Alenia Space. So Axiom Space Station, as well as the ESA Space Rider, will enable a research chain on strategic issues, medicine, biology, etc., supporting new possibilities of technological testing in microgravity. Thales Alenia Space is proud to be a central actor in the new space economy. What is this? Why are you dangling this in front of me? Stop that. You stop this now, ESA. Axiom is a private space station that actually will start Serenity by being added to the ISS. So the ISS will have a commercial hub, and then when the ISS gets decommissioned, it'll separate and it'll look like that. The only ones that accurately predicted the end, did predict the end of the world was the Mayans, Kappa. Lunprod, I get it, it's a joke. The Mayans didn't predict the end of the world. The Mayan calendar ended in 2012. And before you say, what do you mean ended? Our calendar ends every 12 months. Yeah. And then it restarts. Yeah, but, I mean, no. End of the world. Yeah. I know about Space Rider Corps. I didn't really think it was still on their radar, to be honest. Yeah, I've seen that SSTO somewhere. Nah, the wings aren't big enough to be like ours, Crumpet. Release the render, then build it? You want us to do what? Yeah, Sandshot, yeah. I'm telling you, it's just that their calendar ended in 2012. Our calendar ends every 12 months. It's just straight up. Can't believe I'm rehashing this 10 years later. Look. Europe's first reusable space transportation system. Space Rider is an uncrewed robotic laboratory about the size of 2 minivans. It looks about as good as a Fiat Multipla. After a launch on Vega C, it will stay in low Earth orbit for about 2 months. That's cool that they're actually going to give it a place to go, and the place is Axiom. I'm actually pretty happy that they're partnering with it, because we were wondering like what, you know, what's going to help bolster the low Earth orbit economy without a NASA space station being up there. Well, there's your answer. Here we go. The ESA is going to pay Axiom to send this thing up there to conduct science on the station. There you go. You're seeing the emergence here of commercial low Earth orbit economies, which is really cool. That's a real big thing. It doesn't seem like much, right, when you think about it, but it, you know, the idea, like I said, the idea is that if NASA doesn't have to be the anchor point in space, you could spread it to all the commercial. Once again, a bunch of small space stations versus a big space station, and that can provide competition in the market and lower prices to get to space, and then you can have people living and working in space, or people can commute to space, and then NASA and the ESA and everybody else can focus on planetary science, or, you know, and go back to the moon and go to Mars and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because all right, anyway. Yeah, the cupola is cool. We saw them start to make pieces of that the other day. "30 days past September, April, June, and November, Supercraft," right? I have a feeling that a lot of this is next year's away. Well, Jim, here. Try this one on for size. So that's the press release from Thales Alenia Actual right here. Thales Alenia Space, joint venture between Thales and Leonardo and Axiom Space at Houston, Texas, have signed their first contract for the development of 2 key pressurized elements of the Axiom Space Station, the world's first commercial space station. Scheduled for launch in 2024 and 2025 respectively, the 2 elements will originally be docked to the International Space Station, marking the birth of the new Axiom segment. The value of the contract is 110 million euros, or the equivalent of like maybe $5. $5 American. It was a joke. It's a joke. Relax. Kidding. Axiom will serve as the humanity's central hub for research, manufacturing, and commerce in low Earth orbit, expanding the usable and habitable volume of the ISS. Attached to the ISS Node 2 module, also built by Thales Alenia Space. Wow, EJ, it's kid. It's only joke. Why you have to be mad? The Axiom Space Station will be the cornerstone of a permanent, prosperous human presence and a thriving network of commercial activity in low Earth orbit, enabling new advances on both Earth and further out in space. The first two elements to be launched will accommodate up to 4 people each. I just want to look at the pictures. I'm not going to lie to you. Landsat news. Moving the launch vehicle adapter for Atlas V rocket that will launch Landsat on the 9th of September. Cool. The integrated processing facility at Vandenberg. Hey, Bandit. Today, in this occasion, Thales Alenia Space and the Italian Air Force have ratified a memorandum of collaboration aiming to promote access to low Earth orbit in favor of institutions. Institutions, the scientific community, industrial and commercial operators, and the industrial operators? What does that mean? And the development of a research chain on strategic issues, medicine materials, biogenetics, as well as to support the possibility of technological development and OT&E, operational testing and evaluation in microgravity. Yeah, it's not theorized. It's been proven by a NASA experiment in the 80s that synthesizing pharmaceuticals in space actually gets a higher potency yield. Something about constructing pharmaceuticals in a microgravity environment gives you a more potent yield, I think is what it's called. Sorry, not really too well versed in the medical stuff. Do we know what the orientation will be? Well, Bon, it's going to be attached to the ISS, so it'll be in a similar orbit to the ISS. So the ISS is in kind of a compromised orbit where every country that launches to the ISS can launch to it. Japan, Russia, Europe, United States. Yeah, no, cool idea. Humana. Oh, billet, dude. Look at that milling machine. Holy cow. It's a beast. Ah, the country of Europe. Yeah, with monopoly money. Yeah, I just love dumping on you guys. Well, geek, your business idea, yields are higher in space, and I guess that is, that has medicinal applications nowadays, I guess. It's actually not a bad idea, dude. When you do it, call me, I'll invest. And you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey, Europeans, thanks for the free parking. Bumblebee tuna. All right, anyway. Everything is legal in space. I mean, yeah, I guess that's right. I wouldn't want to burn one though, X, on the space station. First of all, if like the space station malfunctioned, your vibe is gonna go south pretty quick. Yeah. Also, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. Vape it?
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Can you wear a top hat and a monocle with that mustache and be my mascot? No, I cannot do that. Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't want to eat one, though. Yeah, I mean... Sounds like it'll go south real quick, man. I don't know if I'm about that life. If something goes wrong. If nothing goes wrong, oh, then it sounds... I mean... Yeah, you need a designated life support astronaut. You need a designated spacecraft operator. Designated driver. Yep. You can criticize Europe all you want. I'm not criticizing. I'm giving you guys crap. Differences. If you give someone crap, you don't really believe what you're saying. You're just ribbing people. Is that something you guys don't do over there? Or are you too busy worrying about each other's feelings? See what I did there? I don't actually mean that. It's just funny to say. Bruh, can you let the delivery guy in? The cargo ship's here, man. The cargo dragon's here, man. It's got pizza. Anyway. Wow, EJ's on fire today. Nah, you guys are awesome. Come on. Dude, let me put it to you like this. I don't give people crap that I don't like. If I'm giving you crap, that means we're cool. And I would expect nothing. I would expect you to dish it back to me because sticking it to the strimmer. I get it. If I'm not doing that, then we got a problem, you know? Yeah, Shy, it's all right. Shy, you guys built a bridge to Sweden. Who would build a bridge to Sweden? What are you, nuts? Never know what they're doing up there, man. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you want Swedes in your country? What's wrong with you? Shy, why would you do that? Why, yes, I am nuts. Yeah, even the Swedes don't want to be there. my god. Alright, so check that out. This is a billet piece of one of the CBMs here for the module. It's so the Swedes can leave. How did the Swedes get there in the first place? It's for the IKEA trucks. I'm very thoroughly convinced that Sweden wants to take over the world. I don't think they're at a point where they can do that yet, but I'm thoroughly convinced. I mean, that damn furniture, man. And the cars and the fighter jets. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. Minecraft? Yeah, see what I'm talking about, man? Paradox? Yeah, see? Only somebody that would want to take over the world would make a game that good to hook you in. Meatballs. I mean, I'm Italian. We make better meatballs, okay? Come on. Or, I'm not Italian. I'm American, but of Italian descent. You make better meatballs. The Swedish meatballs are good. I like those, but nothing will replace a spicy meatball. Swedish meatballs are good, though. I can get down on that. I mean, at least they make meatballs. Anyway, back to space news. That's cool, man. That's a one-piece billet, piece of the outside of the space station. You would make something out of aluminum like this, and you would do billet, basically starting with a block of aluminum, and you have a drill just kind of carve out stuff. It's called milling. You would mill something like this as a billet part to stay strong, because you start with a block and you chisel away pieces. When you do that, the molecular structure of the aluminum is consistent throughout the entire thing, throughout the entire block. As opposed to welding something together, you'd want to make a billet subassembly like this around the docking port, because docking ports can be structural if they have a module attached to them. That's why they're milling it as one piece, which is pretty crazy. That's easily like a $5,000-$10,000 piece of aluminum right there. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I don't know if I've ever had Italian meatballs. You live in Florida? You never had Italian meatballs? What's wrong with you? There's plenty of Italians in Florida. You can find the right place. Don't go to Carrabba's or something. You don't need to go there. Find a real Italian place. Get some real Italian meatballs. Meatballs. You gotta say it like that. Anyway. How do they lock the modules in place so they don't move? It's on a jig. See, man? It's just bolted down. See it right there? They drill and tap a hole. 4 holes here. And then they bolt it on a clamp to the jig. See these lines here? These lines are for holding stuff in place. Think of how many forged internals you could make with that aluminum. I mean, yeah. Well, there's forging, there's billet, and then there's casting. Casting generally is the strong one, but casting creates a very, very dense piece. So if you need something to be really strong, you cast it. Like Raptor engines, for instance. Parts of the Raptor turbine machinery housings are definitely cast. You can see the casting marks. And then there's forging, which basically means heat it up and shape it. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but... And then there's billet, which is where you start with a block and you chisel away at it like somebody working on a statue. Real Italians like Olive Garden. Okay, yep. I'll take false statements for 500. There you go. That's the outside of it. Look at that, man. That is one heck of a freaking mill. 5-axis mill. See, you have the jig down here as well as up there. You can move the thing in multiple. Actually, no, I think that is it a 3-axis or a 5? I can't tell. The machinery, the milling arm is in the way, or this computer is in the way of the milling arm. It's hard to say. Yeah. This is a casting? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you'd cast this piece of aluminum. Yeah, that's good call. The project is currently undergoing a detailed design phase. The 4 radial bulkheads for the first module have been recently developed in Thales Alenia Space Facilities in Turin. These bulkheads provide the structure to which The radial common berthing mechanism, CBMs, and hatches will attach together. Together, the 4 bulkheads with their accompanying hardware form a cylindrical section, providing 4 ports for other space station elements, including docking adapters. The cylindrical protrusions seen on the bottom half of the bulkhead will serve as a connecting unit, allowing power, data, and fluids to pass from one element to the other. The cylindrical protrusion seen on the bottom half of the bulkhead. This part? I thought those markings looked like water milling. I'm not sure, Jaeger, at this point, actually. I don't know. You guys made me second guess myself. I have no idea. I think he's talking about those things. Yeah, one of these is going to be like for power. The other one's going to be for HVAC. The other one's going to be for, cooling. The other, you could have a redundant one over here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know, man. I don't know what that is. It could just be one. I mean, it's a big chunk of aluminum, whatever it is. And I don't know. You think they water jetted this thing? It's possible. That would be one hell of a water jet, dude. I mean, that kind of is consistent with water jetting right there. But I don't know for sure. That's really cool, though. And Mike actually has a picture. Oh, it's the same pictures. All right, cool. It's the same picture. Cool. Axiom Space signs a $130 million contract with French-Italian manufacturer Thales Alenia Space to develop 2 pressurized elements of the Axiom Space Station for launch in 2024 and 2025. Well, we got some flight hardware. Preliminary as it is, that's flight hardware nonetheless. Okay. Next bit. NASA moon wobble is, so NASA says, what is that? NASA moon wobble in orbit may lead to record flooding on Earth. All right, let's tread cautiously here, chat. Okay, let's see. Every coast in the U.S. is facing rapidly increasing high tide floods. NASA says this is due to a wobble in the moon's orbit working in tandem with climate change-fueled rising sea levels. New study from NASA and the University of Hawaii, published recently in the journal Natural Climate Change, warns the upcoming changes in the moon's orbit could lead to the record flooding on Earth in the next decade. What is causing the moon to wobble now? Did I miss something? Yeah, I know it wobbles to an extent, Serenity, but this. Wait. All right, I'm just gonna keep reading. Through mapping the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration's sea level rise scenarios, flooding thresholds, and astronomical cycles, researchers found flooding in American coastal cities could be several multiples worse in the 2030s when the next moon wobble is expected to begin. They expect the flooding to significantly damage infrastructure and displace communities, okay? While the study highlights a dire situation facing coastal cities, the lunar wobble is actually a natural occurrence, first reported in 1728. Yeah, I was going to say, it's nothing that hasn't happened before. That orbital mechanics don't work like that. The moon just doesn't decide to wobble. The moon's orbit is responsible for periods of both higher and lower tides about every 18.6 years, and they aren't dangerous in their own right. In half of the moon's 18.6-year cycle, Earth's regular daily tides are suppressed. High tides are lower than normal, and low tides are higher than normal. Okay, yeah, I mean that's fine. This is abiding by Newton's laws. Today I feel jiggly. Yeah, see, I want to know why the headline is the way that it is. I want to know the orbital mechanics involved. Let's see if they talk about it. In the other half of the cycle, the tides are amplified. Tides get higher and tides get lower. Global sea rise pushes high tides in only one direction, higher. So half of the 18.6-year lunar cycle counteracts the effect of sea level rise on high tides. The other half increases the effect. But this time around, scientists are more concerned. It's their job to be. We're adding more concern on top of the regular concern? Oh gosh, that's a lot of concern. I'll take one concern, please. It's a joke. You should probably take this seriously. With the sea level rise due to changing climate, the next high tide floods are expected to be more intense and more frequent than ever before, exacerbating already grim predictions. According to the study, these floods will exceed flooding thresholds around the country more often and can also occur in clusters lasting more than a month, depending on the positions of the moon, earth, and sun. During certain alignments, floods could happen as frequently as every day or every other day. I mean, the tides tend to do that. Yeah, Supercraft A, alright? I can have high expectations, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Low-lying areas near... Actually, this has been pretty straightforward thus far. Low-lying areas near the sea level are increasingly at risk and suffering due to the increased flooding, and it will only get worse. Oh, wait, Florida man. Low-lying areas near the sea are increasingly at risk and suffering due to the increased flooding, and it's only going to get worse. Said NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. The combination of the moon's gravitational pull, rising sea levels, and changing climate because of that, will continue to exacerbate coastal flooding on our coastlines around the world. Okay? Almost all U.S. mainland coastlines, Hawaii and Guam, are expected to face these effects. Sea level rise is already expected to make hundreds of thousands of square miles of coastline uninhabitable and potentially displace over 100 million people. Researchers are hoping their findings will lead to more dedicated efforts to prevent as much damage as possible to both the environment and people's livelihoods before it's too late. Okay. While high tide floods don't involve as large an amount of water as hurricanes, the real danger lies in their frequency. It's the accumulated effort over time that will have an impact. If it floods 10 to 15 times a month, a business can't keep operating with its parking lot underwater. Just use a boat. Another joke. People lose their jobs because they can't get to work. Seeping cesspools become a public health issue. Yeah, that one's kind of important. Hopefully nobody has septic near a coastline. That's probably not a thing. I mean, keep in mind, and once again, I'm not trying to downplay this by any means. You know, I live near the coast. I get it. It's important to understand that this is based off of a model. The whole article is based off of a new study from the University of Hawaii it's a prediction. It's like when the weatherman gets the weather wrong. It's just a prediction, kind of, most likely because this is how science works. It's a prediction taking into account variables that would yield the worst results, right? Think about it like in Mythbusters, right? Mythbusters was, a show that it was about the scientific method, right? When the Mythbusters don't achieve the result that they want, they blow something up. It's like, it didn't do exactly what we wanted to do, but how do we make it do what we want it to do, right? You crank it to 11. That's what these studies are supposed to do. They're supposed to be predicted. That's just being scientific, guys, like straight up. It's like with a spacecraft. If you were doing a testing regime for a spacecraft, right? You take into account the worst case scenario. That's why they use a launch escape system, or SpaceX tested their launch escape system for Falcon 9 at maximum dynamic pressure. That is the most dangerous part to abort. So you want to take the most dangerous part during the ascent and make sure your abort system works there. Because if it works there, then it's going to work anywhere else, right? They did it on the pad, they did an in-flight abort, and they did tons of testing on the Super Draco engines, right? But if you're being scientific, you always try to take worst case scenario and play off of that with your study. That's just being scientific. When in doubt, C4. Good man. I mean, the other thing to note is that there are ways to mitigate this. Ways to mitigate it. Just dig a hole. Way easier said than done, and I understand that. Okay, like there are ways to get around this. You could just dredge the tide pools. I mean, I'm sure that'll have an immensely bad ecological effect, but I mean, I don't know. Like, are we gonna displace these people? Or are we gonna, like, if somebody wants to stay on their property and their property is being threatened by the ocean and they want to dig a retention pond in their backyard so their house doesn't flood, are we going to say no because you're going to screw up the local ecology there? Like, I don't know. Like, see, that's an argument for another day, you know? I reject your space program and substitute my own. Holland does a pretty good job combating floods, and they've been doing it for centuries. Right? I mean, humans are smart, dude. We'll find a way to get around it. It's not to say that it shouldn't be taken into account either, you know? You shouldn't just feign ignorance to the issue. I mean, once again, they're predicting failure modes. They're predicting, that's being scientific. You're testing under the worst case scenario criteria. That's where these models come from. So before people say, they're just fear mongering you, or before, you know, somebody says, oh, this is real, everybody should not live near the coast, you got to understand that the scientific method by design is designed to be polarizing so you can get a conclusive answer, right? Now, how many variables you put into that equation, that really depends on, I guess, what you're trying to analyze, you know? Like the in-flight abort, for instance, right? Elon's financing a carbon capture tech is what needs to be done. Sure, that's the solution. Floating, the thing is, man, I've never been, when it comes to climate change stuff, we seem to just want to put all our eggs in one basket. You know, like, oh, just reduce carbon emissions, and that'll be the end-all, be-all to fix this. Nope, that's not how that works at all. Carbon capture could be another thing, or we could work on incentives to plant more trees. I know it's not that simple. The trees can't move the carbon as quickly as we're producing it. I understand that. But it's not just carbon emissions. There's a bunch of things, you know? Just pump the extra water up to the moon. Why don't we just take Bikini Bottom and move it over there? There's carbon capture stuff. There's, you know, we could plant more trees. We could, you know, reduce carbon emissions, you know, so the carbon capture stuff doesn't have to work as hard. There's a bunch of things. You know, it's like, I find that we fixate on carbon emissions, but that's one part of the battle there, you know? My argument, floating disc, is if we're really serious about curbing climate change, we would want to fire on all cylinders, especially when it could threaten people's homes, right? The homestead is the human's castle, you know what I mean? Nobody wants their land swept up in the ocean. That would suck. Just colonize new planets. Well, another solution. We should do all these things. It's interesting. Like, we should be firing on all this stuff. Like, firing on all cylinders, man. I don't really agree. We should explode industry and hope we discover new technologies, not limit industry. No, I'm actually saying expand it, Serenity, because we're not going to wean ourselves off carbon anytime soon. Nothing else has the energy density, the stored energy density, except nuclear or natural gas, if we want to do that too. I'll tell you what, boy, propane is the right way. I'm talking about incentivizing industry to innovate here, which is what we're not, like, that's not what we do. We just limit. I don't think that's right. You really want to tackle this problem? Humanity could solve this problem in a decade if we just got off our tails to do it. Humans are smart, man. Look at what we've done. Look at the space shuttle. Look at what we've done. We can figure out something like that. We can figure this out. It's not, I don't understand why it has to be like, oh, well, this could happen, all right, let's just fix it. Like, you know? We're going to have to make more carbon emissions, figuring out ways to figure this out. Like, that's always been my thing. Like, everybody's on and off climate change, and, well, I'm not saying it's not real by any means. You don't add 7 billion people to this damn planet and think that it's going to be the same as it was. No, hell no. You'd be stupid to think that, right? And on top of that, there are naturally changing conditions. The climate does do its own thing. If an asteroid hits, for instance, climate change, ice ages, stuff like that, that does happen. I'm saying we should protect against that. That's another thing that we could be doing, you know? That's what Asteroid Day back on the 30th was all about, right? The thing is like, you really, like, take the chains off and freaking gloves off, chains off, man. Let's go. Let's figure this problem out. Figure out ways down here. Figure out ways up there. Go to space. Don't put all our eggs in one basket. Like, not to sound like a freaking fanboy, but do the way that this guy does with it. This guy right here. You know? Fire on all cylinders. Yeah, Motorkid, but once again, just like anything else, it's important to understand what's going on. And that's why I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes. I actually kind of want to read that study now. I'm interested in what their testing criteria was to predict that model. Like, not because I'm skeptical, just because I want to learn. I want to understand. I feel the problem is that people are scared that one wrong move to try and fix it will cause the hyper-accelerate or something. But we're accelerating it anyway, Sneaky, which is dumb. That's what I mean. Like, we're on a collision course here with an iceberg and a ship, and we're all like, we're going to hit it. My model says I can predict that we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it. Oh, yeah, we're going to hit it. Yeah, we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it. Oh, yeah, we're absolutely going to hit it. Somebody should turn the wheel. Somebody should turn the helm. Helm 108! Yeah, no, we're definitely going to hit that thing. We should probably turn. Yeah, we should probably turn. And then some other guys analyzing about what's going to happen when the ship's going to hit the iceberg. Well, if my prediction is correct, that ship, when it hits the iceberg, it'll sink. Like, how about someone just turn the damn helm? Like, I know it's not that simple. I understand. I get it. It's not that simple. But also at the same time, we're sitting here talking about it the entire time. We're not doing, like, that's my thing. Like, just turn the ship. It's not that simple, guys. We got to, and for people that, like, I know it's not that simple. I get it. We've been turning it since the 70s, but it won't budge. So do you think it's inevitable, Core? Honest question. Yeah, Top Fuel, that's what I'm getting at, man. Like, so can you answer this? If the Earth is tilting axes and its axis is constantly changing at a faster rate than the last few, that's not how orbital mechanics work, Airborne. Earth's axial tilt does affect the weather, but it precesses. It's like if you spin a dreidel, right? And that dreidel is you spin it and it's going to stay straight, right? And then it slows down, right? And it starts doing this, starts wobbling, right? Because you're up in space, every action has an equal and opposite reaction until acted upon by an outside force. That spin will just keep doing that. And that's what the Earth does. That's why days get longer and shorter, for instance, depending on what latitude and what hemisphere you're in. Yeah, Marmot, I know there's people out there trying to do the right thing. See, that's not even the right way to put it. Implying that there are people out there with nefarious purposes. I've never understood people that say that stuff, but whatever. Trevor is at it again. I have that picture. I have that picture already. Yeah, I'll have it up, Chris. Thank you. Yeah. I'll show it in a second. They're adding tuner cars and car meets online. Def, I'm going to have to look into that, dude. You're the second person to talk about the new GTA update. Precession changes the season dates, not much more than that. But it does affect the seasons, and it affects the climate. If the Earth had no axial tilt, right, and it was spinning straight, like when you first throw a dreidel down and it just spins, right, and then it starts doing this. But if the Earth had no axial tilt and Earth's north and south pole were aligned with the sun's north and south pole, anyone near the equator, it would be a desert. It would look like the Sahara. It would look like Africa. I mean, it would toast anything. You'd be toasted. You'd get really warm around the equator. But yeah, I mean, it does change the seasons and stuff. All right, Def, let me see. We'll watch that video at the end of Space News, which should be pretty soon. Let's see. Fighting climate change, it's been done, but slowly. It doesn't get much coverage. Just look at the energy sector. Yeah, there you go. There's people that are working on it. And, you know, that's good. I'm happy that, you know, I said something. Raph, I'm happy that I said something about it, and people are saying, well, there's people doing this and there's people doing this. Why don't... My thing is, why don't we ever hear about it? You know, like... It's always like, oh, maybe it's because controversies. It's because controversy sells. Yep, okay. Yep, all right. That's the end of that. I just want some good news for a change, man. Damn! Just give me some freaking good news for a change. News! All right, here, check this out. All right, here, next bit, guys. Blue Origin. Okay, welcome to the crew, Oliver. We're grateful to have you as our first customer to mark the beginning of commercial operations. Who? First paying customer on New Shepard will be the youngest to fly in space. Who is this? It's Oliver. Okay, yeah, I guess so. Today, Blue Origin announced that Oliver Damien will be the first paying customer to fly on board New Shepard, marking the beginning of commercial operations for the program. He will join Jeffrey Bezos, Mark Bezos, and Wally Funk aboard the first human flight on July 20th. At 18 years old and 82 years young, Oliver Damien and Wally Funk represent the youngest and the oldest astronauts to travel into space. Who is your daddy, and what does he do? Okay, all right. It's probably going to be covered in the article, but I have an idiot question. How did this kid afford this? I'll have you know, at 18, I bought my first car, and it was like 10 G's, and his dad is a hedge fund guy. Oh, no. The winner of Blue Origin's auction, who has asked to remain anonymous at this time, has chosen to fly on a future New Shepard mission due to scheduling conflicts. Club for the Future announced this week that the auction gift has enabled the club to donate $1 million to 19 nonprofit organizations, $19 million in total, all of which are working to support the future of living and working in space. We thank the auction winner for their generous support of Club of the Future and are honored to welcome Oliver to fly with us on New Shepard, said the CEO of Blue Origin, Bob Smith. This marks the beginning of commercial operations for New Shepard, and Oliver represents a new generation of people who will help us build a road into space. Flying on New Shepard will fulfill a lifelong dream for Oliver, who has been fascinated by space, the moon, and rockets since he was 4. When was that? Like a week ago? I'm just kidding. Oliver, I'm sure you're cool. Oliver graduated from high school in 2020. I don't like that statement. Okay. And took a gap year before continuing his studies to obtain his PPL. Cool. All right. Excellent. This September, Oliver will attend the University of Utrecht to study physics and innovation management. Cool. All right. Well, that's cool. You can earn a part of it back doing talk shows. Yeah. What's that link, Thomas? So this is coming from Liftoff Man. So here's the deal. It sounds like the original winner of the Blue Origin auction couldn't fly on July 20th, so Blue offered the seat to the runner-up. The runner-up was hedge fund manager Joe's Damien, who presumably chose to fly his son. The only other detail I have on the original winner is apparently it's someone who really doesn't like publicity, so it's possible he or she got cold feet upon realizing there would be a lot of publicity. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird situation as the schedule wasn't clear. A scheduling conflict when the date was known at the time of the option. Savage, Chris. Savage. I'm pretty sus on scheduling conflict being the reason. Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. Alternative theory from Burger Man, okay. Solar City trial is continuing next week. The winner of the $28 million auction knew the date of the space flight when he or she bid, so it seems odd that there's a scheduling conflict. The Solar City trial is continuing next week. Oh no. I'll be honest. I'm only salty because I wish I was Oliver. There, I said it. Hey, good for it. Yeah, Smarks. I'm not jealous. That's cool, man. Hey, money talks, bro. What do you want? You know, I'm sure that statement's gonna piss a lot of people off, but at least you know, like at least you admit it. Some people use that jealousy as a justification for not being able to have money. You know, it's like, okay, you sure you want that? You know. Watch it be Gwen. Oh, that'd be amazing, Goalie Bear. That's cool, W. Nice. Speaking of solar, did you see the TDU Solar Crown trailer? No, I don't know what that is, Jaeger. It's my dad's fault. He's not rich. Yeah, TLS, he must not like his son. I bought you a ride on a controlled explosion. You want to go? Bro, I don't need real space. I play Star Citizen. This is the kid saying thank you. Let me see. All right, let's see. Let's listen to this. A lot of Jimmy rustling news lately. Just on a side note, you guys notice that? All right, let's see what he has to say.
Hi, I'm Oliver Damon, and I will be joining Jeff Bezos, Mark Bezos, and Wally Fink on the first flight of New Shepard. I am super excited to go to space and joining them on the flight. I've been dreaming about this all my life. Now I'll become the youngest astronaut ever because I'm 18 years old. I am super excited to experience Zero G and City World from above. Thank you so much for the people at Blue Origin for making this happen and making New Shepard. Thank you.
All right. Okay. We need to figure out this whole astronaut nomenclature. Yeah, I know what you mean, Moto Kid. I know what you kid, Moto mean. That's what I was about to say. Good job, Brain. I know what you mean, Moto Kid. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think we should move the definition of astronaut to anything that's in a stable orbit, or at least parking orbit in space. Or some people think that you should make it anybody that, NASA makes astronauts. These are tourists and stuff, You don't call a passenger on an airliner a pilot, right?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Saichi, 10-month resub. Being 18-year-old and having an astronaut title. Nice. It's pretty cool. If I go on a cruise, am I a sailor? Yeah. No, Entropy, I'm with you on that one. Astro tourist? I mean, Smith, why not passenger? Passenger on New Shepard going into space. Unless that passenger is the sim pilot. Can anybody fly this plane? I can. I play Flight Simulator. I mean, GNAC, we're getting to the point where that's actually... Oh, really? Okay, cool, please, Is that messed up? I can't tell if that's messed up or not. Easy. Astronauts are people who have gone through the training to be a part of the astronaut corps. Yeah, Hellfish, I'm with you on that one. To be fair, by that logic, everybody on a spacecraft aren't flying it either. I mean, there's a reason why they call them mission specialists, Badger. But yeah, they're all astronauts. That's a good point. Why do we just say, passenger is fine. But then again, I don't know. You know what, guys? Like, here's the thing with this argument. I'm sure there's some kind of criteria for classifying this, and I'm sure we'll figure it out over time. But I'll say what I said the other day. I don't care. I really don't care. don't get me wrong. It irks me hearing like people say, "Oh, I'm flying on a suborbital tourist flight. I'm now an astronaut." Like, I get it. That statement doesn't sound right. Like it's, but honestly, I don't care. Like, is that bad? I don't really care. It's not really that big of a deal to me. No, Serenity, I agree with you. It doesn't. Skywalker. That's an awesome idea, Saichi. That is an awesome idea. We should absolutely call that. Anybody that's not a classically trained astronaut is called a Skywalker. That's cool. I like that idea. That's a great idea. Astro, space, not traveler. Yeah, AP, there you go. Disney wouldn't like that. Yeah, right. Kind of needed to drive the industry. Yeah, awesome. That's what I mean. I'm not going to sit here and say that doesn't irk me, but also at the same time, I don't really care. There's bigger fish to fry. Exactly. Yeah, you got it, MotoKid. Yeah, there's bigger fish to fry. Who cares? Like, I understand our need in this day and age to classify everything. We want to classify everything, and everything needs to make sense because that's how humans deal with the world. We classify things, Like, we try to organize stuff. The problem is the world is constantly disorganized. So we're always seeking to do that, I think, right? I'm just going to pick and choose my battles. I don't care. More people launching into space can't be a bad thing. I don't think anything is going to change my mind there. The only thing that would make me even budge on that in the first place is streaming your flight into space and then focusing on everything that isn't that and putting personal anecdotes from the people that are flying on there and having musical acts during the webcast. And fake bike rides. Am I right? Nah, plus, Blue Origin ain't gonna do that. I can already tell you that right now. Blue Origin won't put that kind of stuff in there. What they'll do is show how charitable they are. That's what they'll do. They'll talk about Club for the Future, which is that's a good thing. I mean, this is why I chose to cover this thing, cover another Jimmy Wrestling thing the other day. Jeff Bezos donated $200 million to the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Right, he donated to the Air and Space Museum. The Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, someone was telling me, $300 million is what it's cost to fund that project up until this point. So he literally just quintupled their operating budget, which is pretty. Hey, that's pretty cool, man. So Blue Origin's probably going to talk about Club for the Future and stuff and how they're trying to inspire the next generation with this space flight, and that's why Jeff is flying, etc., etc. Trust me, Blue's a lot of things. Their webcasts are a little more classy than that. Yeah, trust me, I know the people that run the webcast. Yeah, they won't do that. There ain't going to be a musical act. Let me put it to you like that. Well, I'll have you know, I left a penny in the leave a penny tray once. Nice. Hazanku, you take money from the tray. The penny's for everybody. It's aggregate, so I'm talking about fractions of a penny. To be honest, I feel like Blue's webcasts are a bit winded up. Yeah, but it won't be like that, It's a little more classy than... a little more conservative than what we saw from Virgin Galactic. Not trying to dump on VG either. It was their first try. Give them. SpaceX's first casts of their launches were cringe as hell too. So if you go back to like 2006, it's weird. I have those pictures already, Bandit. Looks like the Smithsonian hasn't updated their funding ticker. Yeah, Hell Hydra, it's probably because Jeff broke it. He probably broke the damn funding ticker. It's like that scene in Mr. Deeds where they're like, what do you want to give your money to? And he goes, I want to give it to the college fund. And the guy opens up the check and he sees it's like for $200 million and he goes, oh! And then he falls over, That's probably what happened. He probably broke the damn ticker. Sorry, that was loud. He probably broke the ticker, man. All right. Anyway, next bit of space news here. Shortfall of Gravitas, SpaceX's third autonomous spaceport drone ship, the heavily upgraded version here, found its way to Port Canaveral, and it's sitting by Just Read the Instructions. Shortfall of Gravitas is built on the same chassis as the other ones, but it seems to be a much more updated design. It has upgraded thrusters amongst other things, and it clearly is a much more contrived design than the other drone ships. The other drone ships look like a barge with some containers attached to them. This thing looks like the stealth boat from a James Bond movie. This picture is taken by my buddy Trevor here. Will it be able to relay camera footage better? I would guess, Senshai, probably, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's designed to catch boosters. This looks like something that you'd see like the booster landings on like in a James Bond movie or something. It's pretty cool, actually. Very nice comparison. Oh, you mean the side by side that I have right here? You guys love linking the next link that I have. No, I know. Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. It's not a big deal. It's cool. It's cool. There's Port Canaveral. Yeah, look at the old drone ship. Look at Just Read the Instructions, which was SpaceX's first drone ship. And then look at Shortfall. Shortfall is a little bit nicer, man, if I do say so myself. Yeah, it really kind of feeds into the whole space aesthetic that they're SpaceX aesthetic that's going on here. It's smaller. Yeah, it doesn't have these fins out here, man. It's only wide inside of the bullseye, and you know why I think that is? Because SpaceX is confident that they can get it inside of the white circle every time. One's landing proven though, more refined. Yeah, there you go. That's probably a better way to say it. This Just Read the Instructions was the third one. This JRTI. That sentence makes no sense, Thomas. Time to break out the paintbrush. Yeah, right. Who took this picture? I want to make sure I give credit. So this is Nikki X, media photographer for Space Explored. This is Port Canaveral. There's the south entrance to Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, and then you could see Slick 36 over there. Slick 41, Slick 40. Actually, that's 37B. 41 and 40 are up even more. That's the Space Force Station there. This is Navy buildings that we don't know what they do, and I don't really want to know either. It's because they had to just read the instructions. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They decommission one and commission the other. Pretty sure they can make smaller, but a wider barge equals more stability. Yeah, probably. Zoom in on 36, you will see something on the pad. Yes. I see some pixels and some... yes. Pixels are on the pad. Hey, Envy, what's going on? Jarvis, enhance. 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 Just print the damn thing! Also, cool bulk carrier right there. Neat. See these buildings right here? SpaceX owns that building, and they use it, I think, for fairing refurb, if I'm remembering right. That's the Space Hat facility right there. And then you got basically the ship equivalent of a gas station over here. See these things? Gas pumps. Well, oil if you want to be technical, heavy oil or diesel fuel. Does the bulk carrier have a bullseye on it, or is that a reflection? It's the helicopter pad, Jaeger. The cargo doors open up like this. Doors that open up like this! Not like this! These are not the doors of a billionaire, Richard! So the helicopter pad, when the bulk carrier doors are closed, is flat, and then they kind of fold up. Close the blast doors. Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors. But yeah, Shortfall of Gravitas was finished in Louisiana, I think. I think they were working on it at Port Fourchon in Louisiana. And then the cool thing about a Shortfall of Gravitas is that it doesn't need to be towed. It's self-propelled, and it'll autonomously have the rocket land on it, and it could sail itself back. I think they're always, just for safety, going to have a tug next to it with people on board, just in case it does something weird. But I'm fairly... Elon did say on Twitter that this thing can basically come all the way back to the port, which is pretty nuts. These things cannot do that. They are self-propelled, but they need a tugboat to go aboard. A tug needs to bring people aboard, and they have to safe the booster, etc., etc. Bollinger Shipyards at Port Fourchon. Thank you. Blorgen? John Krause took this picture. Oh, man. It's really coming along, dude. There's still a good chance it will be tugged. I don't think autonomous ships are allowed to work like that, Fragment. I think that goes against maritime laws or something. Someone was trying to explain it to me the other day, but I'm just too much of a doofus to understand how all that works. So John Krause took this picture of Slick 36. That's New Glen's launch pad, also Blue Origin. Looks like they got the crawlerway and the ramp pretty much figured out. They're building some GSE over there, but the pad doesn't look not anywhere near finished. I shouldn't say that, but it's definitely coming along quite nicely, and there's definitely a lot of people out there. Look at the parking lots are full. But yeah, it's I mean, that building is friggin' huge. That that building is like 20 stories tall. It's really, really tall. Those doors are not small. I would say that those doors are probably 15 meters high. Something like, I don't think it's maybe not 250 feet. That's not, I mean, New Glenn is a 7-meter core rocket, and it's going to be on a transporter erector. So those doors have to be at least 15 meters, how I see it, because you have a transporter erector, and then you have a 7-meter core on top of that transporter erector. And the transporter erector has to be raised up off the ground on wheels. So 7 is 14, and you're gonna want clearance because you don't want your rocket scraping the top of your hangar. So those doors have to be above 15 meters easily. Of course, Senchai. Another Blorgen pick. Looks like they're working on some launch table stuff there. That's really friggin' cool, man. I'm psyched for New Glenn. That rocket's gonna be insane. You're gonna want clearance, Clarence. Yep. I mean, if that's a doorway right there on that door, oh man, that thing is gigantic. I try to convey size as much as I can, Serenity. Oh crap, miscalculation. Let the air out of the tires. It worked for the Ford Explorer Jeep. Never mind. It hasn't shown up on AIS. It needs that to run on its own, and they should have it tested by now. If they plan on running it autonomously, at least for the first missions, I think it will still be tugged. Sounds right, Fragment. Yikes! People died. Comedy is tragedy plus time, Forlorn. Here's another picture from Trevor. Thing is sleek. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We got mountains of content. Some better, some worse. Can't find anything, then you'd be the first. All right. Saw that. Okay, so here's one coming from ULA's Flickr. The Centaur stage carrying the N22 adapter for Starliner is being stacked inside of the VIF today. The VIF is the Vehicle Integration Facility for Atlas V. The Centaur crowning the core stage right there basically signifies that the stack is ready. The only thing left to do is put Starliner on top of that thing. Yeah, Jeep guy, right? So, this is scheduled for a launch July 30th. The Orbiter Flight Test 2. They're going to launch a Starliner and check and do a retest after the OFT-1 mission was a partial success, I guess, or partial failure. Glass half full, right? In December of 2019. If the OFT goes well, we could see people fly as soon as December for Starliner. In fact, the first crew on Starliners for the CFT-1 mission is actually out there, which is pretty cool. All right, a couple more things here. We already got that. Okay, someone I talked to. Cool, goalie, nice. What's the mission profile? A rendezvous with the ISS Serenity, testing the autonomous docking. Docking at the ISS and staying up there for a week and then coming back down. It should basically be like Demo 1 that SpaceX flew in 2018? 2018? Elon side question, if you want to. How closely do you follow Tesla? Close enough. Jaeger, I follow SpaceX way more. 2019 Novalight, there you go. It was a little while ago. Oh, this is not going to end well. Stick your tongue out. It better end well. My tax dollars paid for that stupid thing. It better friggin' work. Actually, not this mission, believe it or not. Boeing is launching the OFT-2 mission out of their pocket to the tune of $400 million. So, yeah. NASA said it didn't work. And Boeing's like, yeah, it didn't. NASA goes, you're going to have to test it again. Boeing said, yeah, we'll spot you. We got this one. Will it have cargo? Probably in some capacity, LTO, yeah. All right. So the next two things are pictures from Boca Chica here. I'm going to skip the Starship video today. We can watch it later. We're out of time. There's a picture of Booster 4. Booster 4 is the booster that SpaceX has said that they're going to use to launch the Starship orbital flight test. That's the common bulkhead there. So this is the middle of the booster being worked on inside of the high bay right there. Yeah, Mary took a really nice picture. This picture is coming from NASA Spaceflight here, from Boca Chica gal. Mary, who's down there taking pictures every day. The videos that we watch, she's the one that's taping them, unless otherwise noted. So, yeah, there you go. The other thing here is this. This is coming from C. Nunez Images here. There's this thing with the Superman logo on it, and it's being... I don't know what that is. Yep. It's being put on some kind of jig that they used. I think that's the jig that they used to make nose cones. I think. What if Starliner fails or partially succeeds again? That would suck, Vanguard. Yeah. Depending on the test results. If the test results from the OFT-2 mission meet NASA's criteria for launching people into space, they'll certify it for human flight, or they won't. Control surface? I don't know. OFT-3, yeah, right? Yeah, Kuro. True that. All right. There we go. That's cool, man. All right. There are some Starship videos that we could watch from NSF, but we're out of time today. While I have your attention, don't go to... If you're only here for space news, that's cool. I totally get it. While I have your attention, I'm taking tomorrow and Saturday off. And then I'm coming back on Monday. Now's the time to take vacation, believe it or not, because the range is down. There's no rocket launches. There will be one on Tuesday. But I should be back on Monday and Tuesday here because Tuesday's the 20th, for Jeff Bezos's NS-16 flight with Mark, Wally, and Oliver now. So when I get back, guys, I might. The latest I will be back here is probably next Wednesday. If there's some plans that could transpire that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to jinx it. But I'll know if those plans transpire by Sunday, which I would have off anyway. So, what I wanted to say is that I'm changing my schedule around next week, no matter what happens. Events transpiring notwithstanding. I'm going to change the schedule around, dudes. It's the first time I've pretty much done it since the quarantine streams, and the first time since 2015 that I've really changed it. You moving to Europe? No. Why would I want to go there? I like cars. Why would I go there? I like working on cars, let me put it that way. It's joke. Kidding. Don't get bent out. It's a joke. Shh. So, the new schedule that I'm going to do is Sundays and Mondays off. I'm going to take Sunday, Monday off. And then we're going to stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pretty much straight through. The reason why I'm doing that is because with the amount of hours that I stream, I want to be able to do other stuff. Not like, oh, I need time away from the stream. No, I want time to do like background stuff for the stream. Like, how long did it take me to upgrade the stupid friggin' green screen? It took me years to do it. It's so stupid, right? I feel like having that kind of off business day where I'm still working on Mondays could really help. Or just we could do a truck stream on Mondays as well, depending on what happens. So the new schedule basically just swaps Tuesday and Monday. The other thing that I'm going to do is on Fridays and Saturdays, I'm going to revert to my pre-2020 schedule. So on Fridays and Saturdays, it'll be 4 to 4 a.m. so we can do racing. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's basically what we're doing right now. This is just a little bit of a reduction in hours so I can kind of pick up the pieces that the quarantine streams and the pandemic left so I can better plan events that aren't just regular streams. I mean, Germany has the Autobahn. Florida has drag strips. You can get your kicks there. I don't need to fragment. It's fine. Wait, it's not orange anymore? It's green. Why do you think I look like I'm actually a living person and not a robot? I mean, good afternoon from the Great White North. Hey, Nazalik, what's going on? 4 to 4 a.m. Thinking very, very hard to calculate in European time. Supercraft, take the time that I start and add 4 hours to it. Take the time, your time that I start, and add 4 hours to that. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say that Fridays and Saturdays are fixed 4 to 4. I can still pop in and do early hours, Space News, Kerbal, and then after hours. That's fine. I just can't keep doing that every weekend. Because I want to have time to organize and work on other, like, RL content for you. Like, that's the truth. That's the truth. I'm not, like, don't think for a second that I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm burned out on streaming. I need time away. If I burned out, it would have happened by now. No, I love doing this, and I want to try to see if I can work on some background stuff to get you some crazier stuff on this stream. Some of it could involve cars. Some of it could involve space. I mean, that's the reason. This is something that I was going to do in 2020 anyway. I wanted to ramp up the RL content, like VFTs with DOS and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously those plans did not transpire. What about cars in space? If I'm capable of doing that fresh, then yeah, I should be able to provide you some good stream content, I think. Lemons. What about cars in space? Somebody already asked that. You're not witty. But will there be space cars? Oh god. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. Let's play Kerbal. We demand Spider-Man pictures. High quality IRL streams are so tough. Yeah, tell me about it, man. But will there be space in cars? Well, IQ, I do own a big old American automobile. There's plenty of space in there. Foreshadowing. You can do cars in space because of family. Sure. Can we have space cars in Kerbal? You want me to make a moon rover? Did you see Fast 9? No. I haven't watched a Fast and Furious movie since Fast 5. And even Fast 5 was... I'm like, wow. This is so far from the original movies that I enjoy so much. I just never watching this crap again. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is I refuse to watch any Fast and Furious movies after Paul Walker passed away. I won't do it. It hurts too much. Yeah, you can call me weird. Because you know how I feel about idolizing celebrities, but Paul Walker's the one exception. What's the plan for KSP today? The plan is to play it, Shady, yeah. We need some summer car again. What about summer car in real life? Would you like that? It is the summer right now. Just putting it out there. I mean, when I finish the truck, we're eventually going to have to drive it. Just saying. Yeah, Top Fuel, I'm not doing that. Alright, anyway, time to play some Kerbal. I'm going to end Space News on this note here. There is some other things that we could get into, talking about the new Formula 1 car, but I gave that enough time at the beginning of Space News. If anything, that's what bumped Space News over the mark. I just wanted to see the tuner update for GTA Online, just out of curiosity, because we do a lot of car racing in GTA. So this is coming from GTA Online here. Let's see, or coming from Rockstar, I should say.
Welcome to the LS Car Meet.
Don't play that this boy.
We got the fastest cars, trucks, bikes,
Bikes! Bikes!
The only thing we don't got is
Beef.
You look familiar. I know you from somewhere.
I just got one of them faces. Don't even worry about it.
Was that Luda? Was that ludicrous? Bikes!
Welcome to the LS Car Meet.
Don't play that this boy.
We got the fastest cars, trucks, bikes, all of it. The only thing we don't got is
Beef. Yo. Sick, dude. Hold on. Alright, hold on. I gotta look at this. Why would you have a car meet on a main road? What are you guys, nuts? I know why. I know why they chose this building. Looks like we may be getting some new cars. I keep seeing new stuff in here. Let's see. More info here. Okay. Nice minivan. Yo, an S2000. Dude, an S2K. Look at that. So that's the challenge. It's the Challenger. I forget what it's called. The Buffalo Classic or whatever. Is that a Supra? Is that a Supra? Is that a Supra? You guys, is that a Supra? Miata. Trying to sell an 8-year-old game. Yep. Whoa, a Celica. Dude, an ST185 Celica. Yo, and an RX-7. What the hell, dude? Hey, Steely, what's up, man? Dude. 3rd gen RX-7, ST185 Celica with the rally rims. Nice, good choice. Nah, that's the Jugular. That's already in the game. That looks like an S13. Wow. Wow. Camaro. Hold on. Read the newswire for more details. It's awesome. Yeah. There's the Yosemite. That's already in the game. Brown. Bikes! Stance Nation, dog. What kind of car is it, though? Yo. Dominator Classic, dude. Vapid Dominator Classic. Oh, the Dominator's a Mustang. An SN95. No way. Yo. There's an SN95 in this game. Oh my goodness. That's... Oh, that's so cool. It's an SN95. That's awesome. Annis. Annis is Nissan. It's Datsun and Nissan in the game. So yeah, that is an S13. Ah! How did they skirt the copyright, man? Oh my god. How did they do that? How did you skirt the copyright? How's that even a thing? What's that car over there? That looks like a Delta. You think that's a Delta HF? That's kind of what it looks like. Hachi. It also had special areas we could use car meets away from griefers. Nice. So there's 3 Mustangs now? Well, there's the Ellie. There's the original Dominator. There's the Dominator GTX. There's a Dominator Classic. And then there's a Dominator Retro. So there's like 5 Mustangs in this game. That's a Hachi right there. That's... Does it say Karen on it anywhere? No. Just joined. What's up for GTA Racing? They added a bunch of cars like Tagumis. Deja vu. I've just been to this place before. Higher on the beat. Yeah. The Dominator Classic looks to be a 69 Mustang. 69 or a 70, judging by... Yes, I can tell. Shut up. I'm a nerd when it comes to that. There's an RX-7, 3rd gen RX-7 over there. That's a BMW. That's a Sentinel, whatever the Sentinel is in game. Slam van right there. What is this? It says Vapid on it. Dude, is that a Focus RS? Hey, cool. The website has pictures. Or we could have some fun and try to scope out all the cars. I mean...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
You guys want to see the pictures, though, so we'll do that. Alright, let's see. Is that a Supra? Vapid is Ford, which is funny to me. Dual, 17 months. Yeah, probably combined. I mean, 69 and 70 already have the same rear end. It's the headlights that they changed. It's pretty much the same car. Yeah, Louisa, right? Is that a Supra? Dude, an ST-185 Celica. Look at that. Mazda RX-7 over there. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's weird. Yeah. If they show the headlights of that, I'll be able to tell you what year Mustang it is. That's definitely a 69 or a 70 Mustang. Quantum Crunches, 16-month resub. Cool. What is that? What is this car? Huh. Dude, there's a ton of new cars. That's awesome. Oh, dude, the Celica. That's sick, man. That's really cool. New vehicles. The Karen Calico. It looks like the Tokyo Drift update. I know, man, I know. It's funny. They showed drifting in it. That or you can go home, bruh. 35 large, huh? How do we cycle the pictures? The Fudo GTX, that's definitely an 8.6 3-door. It's an AE86, so this would be a Corolla GTS in the States, and it would be a Sprinter in Japan and the rest of the world. Sprinter Trueno. Deja vu? The Anis Euros 370Z. I'm gonna drive this Mustang into all the crowds. How did they get around copyright? How does that even happen? These cars look exactly like the real ones, man. And it's ZR350. It's an RX-7. Dinka RT3000. That's a Honda 2000. That's all right, guys. I ain't losing. This fool's running a Honda 2000. I'll win. Therefore, you know, me and my dad can roll together when he gets out of prison. It's all good. Yeah, they're gonna throw him right back into prison when he kills you. Jesse, don't do it. I bet you's got more than $100 grand under the hood of that car. Shoot 'em up. The Vulcan Warner HKR. Is that a Ute? Is that a Ute? Yeah, Errol, right? The Volker Warner HKR. To what? Yeah, that looks like a Japanese mini truck. The Obey Tailgater S. That's an S4. You're right. They are, Kuro. Dude. So it's a Datsun Sunny. That's cool, man. I like that. That's neat. Oh, the Dinka Jester RR. It's a Mark V Supra. Is that a Supra? The Anis Remus. That's definitely supposed to be an S13. Wait, is it S13 or S4? I don't know. Hold on. I think it's... Hang on. Which one is it, guys? It's the old one. Hold on. Let me take a look. Was that a Supra? Is that a Supra? Yep. So there's the S10, S110, the S12, S13. Oh, yeah. Yep, it is an S13. Cool. Yeah, it's a Sylvia K. That's what it looks like. That's neat, man. These are cool cars. These are cool cars in real life. And then the Karen Coleco GTF. That's an ST185 Celica, or Celica. That's the ST185 is the chassis code. It's the chassis code for a GT4. See? That's that thing. Actually, no. I don't think it's an ST185. Hold on. It could be the one after it. It could be the 205. Yeah. 205 was the chassis after that. I'm wrong. It's not a 185. It looks like a 205 GT4. What is it about losing world wars that has to do with making such cool cars? Well, that's what happens when the people that conquer you rebuild your economy. Or help you, at least. Because they want to keep you as a proxy to curtail communism. Yeah, that probably has a lot to do with it. Yeah, that's right, Raja. Dude, I want the Castrol ST205. Or no, that's a 85. Dude, that thing destroyed Rallycross because Toyota was cheating. The tapered spacer on springs, that's hilarious. They basically put a wastegate in the intake, which is really funny. They put a wastegate in the intake. So, you know, at high revs, At higher revs, the wastegate would open and they could get more air into the car. Ah, that's funny as hell. And then there's, so the Fudo GTX. Okay, yeah, we got all of them. Cool. A lot of new cars, man. Yeah, we'll definitely do some car meets in game. If you want to figure out, there are quick ways to get money in GTA. We actually have a channel in the Discord that's run by my buddy Zonic, who's a longtime viewer, about all the easiest ways and the incentives that GTA 5's like the dailies and stuff, so you can make cash pretty damn quick. Like a good solid week of grinding will get you what you need. I mean, or you could just buy money, which I wouldn't. I used to do that a lot. I don't really do it much anymore. What's the SN95 called? It's a Mustang. That's a 4th generation Mustang tree. So the 4th gen Mustang. SN95 is the chassis code. The Dominator GTT is that. It's supposed to be a 69. So there's the 1st gen, right? First generation ended in 73, and then 74 they went to that. And then in 79 they went to the Fox platform, so the Fox body. They made those until 1993. 1993 they went to the SN95, which started like this and then it ended like that. It's a late model SN95. How you feeling today? I'm good, King. How about you? My chat room keeps resetting, guys. Does anybody else having that problem? It keeps resetting the chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the SN95, and then after that came the S197. That's my car. My car looks like this, only not a convertible. And it's not a GTCS, it's just a GT. And then after that, Ford with the Mustang, what they've been doing since the 60s is they run a car for the Mustang runs, I don't know, it varies from time to time. Basically runs about 10 years for a chassis. They run it about 10 years and they upgrade the chassis, give or take. And then halfway through they redesign. They do a slight facelift. So there's two types of S197 Mustangs out there. There's ones like this that have this kind of grille, which was that was the base. That's what the S197 looked like when it came out, which is the first 5th gen Mustang. And then after that, they did a redesign to make them look like this. Then they made this from 2010 to 2014, or 2009 to 2014. And then they swapped to the S550 chassis, which is that. The S550 actually in 2015 was a big deal because it was the first time the Mustang was offered with independent rear suspension. It was using a live axle the S197 chassis uses a live axle. S550 does not. Yeah, those are nice cars, man. They really are. They're, and I'm not just saying that because I like Ford. They are nice cars. And to be fair, the ZL1 Camaro from the same year is really nice. And then Ford made a misstep on the way to glory. This is like, what I'm about to show you is like when Rareware got bought by Microsoft. Okay, mistakes were made, all right? Mistakes were made. We don't talk about that, okay? The Mashy. You mean you don't like Sea of Thieves? Stormcrasher, there was one at the auto show that I went. I don't know